Welcome, I was doing ASMR for a while, wasn't I? Jesus. That feels like ages ago already, actually, all of a sudden. Welcome, guys. Welcome to, hopefully, what will be the climactic end of Guild Wars 2 Merciless. Ciao for now, says Filmer. What? In the first second? Before the stream's even started? What do you mean you're leaving? What? Anyway, hello. Hello, Dotsy. It's good to see you. Nice, prompt, on time. That's what I like to see. If I was an employer, that would be a good plus for you there. You'd be looking good before even the interview process, right there. Welcome. Hello to Martin Nepler as well. Oh, you're going for dinner, are you, Filmer? All right, okay, that's fine. All right, so yeah, guys, this is the end of Merciless. I'm not going to put the video up on YouTube today. I was scared enough doing it yesterday, so we're going to ignore it today. However, we're going to have some funsies. I'll go get my coffee, as always. I really need a coffee emote. I need to speak to Waldir. I've barely spoken to him. For the video on the competition winners, I'm thinking of asking him if he can very quickly mock up like a list of them or something so I can read it and that'll be the video. Whew, excuse me, wow, I'm already yawning. Something like that, I don't know. But anyway, all of that aside, yeah, today is going to be the finale. Don't die, WP, says Zhaitan1. Well, I hope I won't. I hope not. I've done pretty well today in the PvP side of things with the judging and stuff going on. Not dying. Stealth stream. It's not going to be a stealth stream. It's just not going to be advertised on YouTube. I mean, people, if you guys who are here right now, if there's ever a day where I can genuinely know that you're a follower, or a moment, sorry, that I can know you're a follower, it's right now. The people who are in chat right now are probably following the channel, and that's like a main way that you can end up seeing the streams. I think actually it's really weird because I'm not very good at Twitch. I don't really look at Twitch much, but I looked at the stats a while ago, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. And it said something like 50% of the people who watch my stream are from browsing our Guild Wars 2. Which is really interesting to me. It's basically, I think I've talked about this a little bit on a previous stream. It's basically this idea that people just see, they come to Guild Wars 2 and they're like, what do I want to watch? And they just see who's top of the category and they click that. The guy with the viewers, it's kind of like knowing that there's X amount of viewers there sort of is a guarantee of quality somehow, or there's some like confidence that because other people are watching, then it's okay for you to, and that's why, that's like, and like half of the people watching, every other person who's watching, probably the people in chat are more familiar with me, but a lot of them actually get to the stream just through browsing Guild Wars 2. Which is amazing to me. And I sort of hate as well. You guys know me. I've talked about this before. I never click on the person top of the category, ever. Because I feel like they don't deserve it. I feel like they've already got enough eyeballs and stuff. You know, I would never be that guy. You know, there's a thing, I won't use their name or anything. Because, again, I think that contributes to the problem. But there's some big controversy about a YouTuber at the moment. And everyone's talking about this YouTuber. Everyone is talking about them, and all it's meant is just insane viewership for them and insane subscriber growth. And, you know, it really is true. If it's ever been true before, if it's ever been transparently true, rather than just a theory, that idea of no press is bad press. Sorry, all press is good press, basically, right? There's no such thing as bad press. It's true for YouTubers, and it's true for, like, streamers and stuff. There was a big streamer that I was reading about that had some, like, devastating personal issue they apparently decided to announce to the internet, and of course then the internet rallied around hating them over it, but it did nothing but viewer boost them and signal boost them. It's like, it's really weird stuff. Anyway, I don't know what I'm getting at. I don't know what this tangent is. Basically, yeah, hello to everyone, but you guys right now are probably followers, so you guys get the game. You don't need the YouTube thing, or you just leave the tag up. It's tab, sorry. You're going to go grab stream watching food? Lily, you got to tell me what you're getting, man. You got to tell me. There's always a controversy on YouTube. Yeah, there was another thing as well. Like, I've got a project going on at the moment that's, I don't really know how to describe it. But I was looking at a controversy between various, like some guy was like, oh, I've been ripped off or something. They're apparently like a law YouTuber. And, you know, so like I'm vaguely on the periphery of being a law YouTuber, right? Or if not fully one, I don't know. It depends what videos you like to click, I guess, really, is what that comes down to. But they were basically talking about how, you know, they're a small channel that's just starting off doing, I believe it was God of War lore. And they wrote a script and they did a video and they got like, I think it was something like 6,000 views, which is like good on them, to be honest. If you're a total grassroots new YouTuber, you're not getting jerked off by some bigger person who's just pulled you out of the pits or whatever, if you've genuinely hard work grafted for 6k views, that's, you know, that's a real sign of something, and good job to them. But they were upset that some larger lore YouTuber with about 2 million subscribers or something had stolen their script and stolen their video and their editing, and then there was some big fight, and they were like slapping one another on the internet over it. And you know, these things are fascinating for me to watch. I mean, I think they'd be interesting for anyone to hear about or learn about or read. I think that I get an added layer of enthusiasm for these kinds of stories, given what I try and do for a living. And it was kind of amazing, actually, to sort of watch that unfold. And I don't know, I've got my own project going on at the moment, which I'm kind of excited about, in that it might be able to distance me from those kind of fears and upsets and worries and things. But yeah. It's just an advertisement act? What, when someone does a controversy? There's definitely a thing. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's a big thing. And it's not just... I'm talking about it mainly YouTube oriented. But there's a big thing. It happens on Reddit threads as well. Like if you want to calm a farm or whatever. I barely post on Reddit on any of my accounts, but it's a thing that people do, right? You might not realize this, but essentially you provide good content. The content itself, the stream itself, whatever you're watching right now, for example, or when you click a YouTube video, or when you watch a GIF, or when you're on Pinterest, or whatever you're consuming on the internet, right? The content itself is good, but what you do, and I kind of love that this is a thing, because I loathe human nature to be this way, but what you do is the content is good, but you title it, and a title is arbitrary. A title means nothing with regard to the content. You title it in a deliberately provocative way, or a deliberately wrong way, more to the point. Like, you make some part of it factually incorrect, right? Like, you describe, I don't know, this came to my attention quite recently, actually. What was it? It was something to do with concrete. So here's an example, right? Let's say you've made a GIF of, like some building work being done. Someone's building a wall out of bricks. They're building like a beautiful wall. And I don't know, maybe it's a time lapse and it's through the seasons, or there's something artistic about it. The content itself is great, right? So for whatever reason, watching this building work being done is really interesting. But what you do is you title it and you say, look at this amazing concrete work. Despite the fact that there's no concrete in the GIF itself. Yeah, do you get what I mean? GIF, whatever, right? Do you get what I mean? And so what this does is this, like, essentially, people are so desperate to call out factual inaccuracies, and people are so pedantic, and people get so caught up on titles, even though it's completely arbitrary and doesn't mean anything. What you can do is you can bait people into leaving comments on your video or on a Reddit thread or whatever, and as soon as that happens, you start getting higher in search engines and you do stuff like that. So, like, it's a very real thing where people deliver... It's kind of a form of clickbait, I guess, if you will. It's a very subtle thing that is quite often done to manipulate the hell out of audiences and to get people's content higher. So, I don't know. I obviously, I loathe that that's a thing, and I hate dirty tricks, and anyone should hate dirty tricks, and I've never deliberately done something like that myself. On another hand, though, I feel like people are being so basic and, like, predictable and just... Ugh, I just don't like it. That people are so easily manipulated. I almost sort of want to say fair play. Like, do you know what? If people are this stupid, just go for it. I almost want to say that. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, the various random things to talk about. Pan, welcome. Who thinks I can go all the way with the Ranger? Well, does anybody want to respond to Pan there? Who thinks I can make it with the Ranger? Cement versus concrete? Maybe it was that? I don't know. What is actually the difference between cement versus concrete? All I know about concrete really is, aside from obviously what it is, but like for what it represents, what it means, it was extremely important, wasn't it? Concrete. The discovery of concrete. For infrastructure, for the way cities are constructed, for the way we as humans, as societies, can build and live and structure our lives. It's like one of those big watershed things, you know. It's like an extremely important moment for any civilization, for any culture, to learn how to mix, what is it, grout, gravel, dust. I don't know what it is, but there you go. It's something like that. I know that, and I know that there's a form of concrete. I think this is a story about concrete. You guys might not know this. I'm pretty sure that this is okay. Now, my tentative nature here is going to make you disregard this fact. But I believe it's something like in ancient Greece, they learnt about concrete and they used it. And they even had a quite strong form of concrete because they used like volcanic ash or something in it. And they built all this incredible stuff with it. But then, obviously, there was sort of the fall of their culture, their civilization. Everything sort of got wiped. And for a period of many, many, many years, like hundreds of years, you know, maybe something like 800 years or more, no one really knew how to create these things. So there was this huge era of human history, the Dark Ages, if you will, I guess, where basically people could see these ancient civilizations. I mean, 800 years is a long period of time, and I'm being quite conservative with my estimate there, where you could see the remnants and the ruins and the remains of these ancient civilizations that could build this giant, amazing, crazy stuff. And you could only wonder as to how they did it, because no such technology was available to you. You know, you get like these ideas in fantasy quite often that there's that ancient fallen race, like the elves, and now they're gone and they did all this marvelous, wonderful stuff. That was actually a reality for planet Earth. If you lived around like the year 400 or something, you genuinely would have had that experience to visit the Sphinx as well, like in Egypt, or the pyramids and stuff. Like, how incredible is that? It's beautiful. It's a very magical idea that we, alive here in the 21st century, that kind of don't get. Because no one surpassed us, as far as we know, obviously. You know, there are no skyscrapers greater than ours. There was no ancient civilization that created... you know what I'm always interested in? Like cruise liners and, like, just these enormous ships that sail around these days. Like, they're so mammoth. They're so gargantuan. It's amazing. I feel like there's a lot of like big industry stuff that doesn't get enough attention because it's so genius and incredible. I love series like How It's Made. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. We still don't know how the Greeks made concrete like they do. Really? I know it's something to do with volcanoes, right? It's something to do with that. You came here to receive your history lesson for the day. No, I mean, these kind of things fascinate me as someone interested in fantasy and con worlds and sort of literature that constructs fake, you know, environments where they have these like alternate histories and stuff, because I think that's so amazing. That's really, really fascinating. There's so many interesting things about the past that like would sort of blow your mind to realize how a limited perspective can make the universe, the world, seem so magical, create so much space for the idea that something like a god could exist and so on. You know, I talked again a little bit about this in one of my Tomb Raider LPs where I was talking about, you know, the fear of the deep water and the unknown, and that still exists to a large extent today. But, you know, the idea that these great krakens and things could exist. But yeah, you know, I think it's beautiful. I really think just that idea of, like, imagine being a guy from a little world that, like, imagine being a genuinely really intelligent, rich, wealthy person with as much freedom as you could possibly have for that period of time, visiting the Great Pyramids, you know, somewhere before the year 1000. Imagine that! And just being left to have your mind blown at how the hell this thing could exist. Can we get part 2 for that song? What song's that? Sorry. Hey, Nosh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greek Fire. Well, that was the thing in the newest Tomb Raider. I'm talking an LP ages back. Tomb Raider Legend, where I speculated that the Tokyo Tower was indeed the Eiffel Tower. Some other great multifaceted comments that came from that there. WP is so multifaceted that you could talk about concrete for a full stream. I mean, no, my understanding of these topics is surface deep. That's about as far as it goes. We can't really talk about much more. I think that's interesting, though. I think that is interesting. I think some of the stuff we've said is pretty interesting. Romans going about with MacBooks. Alright, okay, so what we'll do... Oh, Elodus comes in and says that the pyramids were actually made by aliens. That's a good point. I'm afraid I've kind of been a bit of a fool there. This entire discussion is sort of null and void because aliens. You know, I hate that as well. It really kind of upsets me that conspiracy theorists that attribute... So I'll talk about my stepdad a little bit here. I don't usually talk about personal things at all. And I won't get too specific or anything. But, you know, he's a very intelligent man. and he's, you know, he's a respectable man, and I think he's got reasonably grounded opinions. Also, very rare for a man in his age range, very rare. He has some malleability in his opinions. Like, you can actually introduce information to him and he might change his mind, which I think is really important. And as we get older, we obviously, you know, I don't know whether I'll be that strong, you know, that humble at the age that he is. So, you know, I consider this a respectable person, but he's got this thing where he watches all these documentaries about aliens and stuff that, you know, you'll find on the National History Channel or whatever, Natural History Channel, you know, whatever. And it's, like, so frustrating to me. What really upsets me about this stuff, like, when it's like, oh, how were the pyramids built? Or any other random thing. How was Easter Island constructed? How did the rocks that make up Stonehenge come all the way from Wales with people with that technology at that time? They're all, you know, associating this with godly or extraterrestrial or whatever theories. I hate that stuff. I'll tell you why, fundamentally, I'm just against that stuff, why I don't want to believe in that. As exciting as it is to believe, you know, when you first hear about it, the reason you don't want to believe in that stuff is because it's like, it sort of undermines pride in what it is to be human, what it is to be man. It robs us of our own ingenuity. You know, people are smart. Just because they existed 1,000 years ago, people are smart. They can figure stuff out. They can brute force, and it's not always just brute forcing through slave labor and stuff. It's people genuinely can figure a lot of very, very difficult things out, and they can overcome a lot of challenges. And to say, oh, it was aliens, it's impossible it was aliens. Like, there's some, like, juvenile, childish excitement behind that. But on the other hand, there's something, like, really incredible that you lose there by not accepting that maybe mankind, we're just fucking awesome, guys. Maybe we're just really cool. And that's what, just, you know, from just a regular standpoint, that's why I would always sort of stand by any kind of scientific explanation that can attribute it to people. We shouldn't easily disregard just because we enjoy the fantasy of aliens being around. You know, one thing that always makes me think of this is very striking. There's a subreddit called Colorized History. I don't know if you guys know about this. It's quite a big subreddit at this point. But what they do is, it's just artists that will paint on black and white photos and things, right? And some of them are quite good. And obviously there's like a level of fakeness to it, right? Because it's just our interpretation of what those colors would look like based on the artist that redrew it or whatever. So obviously, but moving that aside for a second, one thing that always strikes me about a lot of those images, and even just regular black and white images, is how just normal and regular and similar everyone looks. Even if it's an image from, like, you know, 125 years ago. They're just people, you know? And if it was 1,000 years ago, you might see, you know, you guys might not have this. I've started having this a lot more in the last 5-6 years. Where you meet people, most people you meet in your life, you look at, like, the shape of their face, you look at the structure of their eyes or their, you know, their mannerisms, their gait, the way they gesture. And just something about it sort of feels familiar to you. And you'll realize it's because they move, they speak. And I'm not talking like as blunt as accents or whatever. I'm talking like a little bit more than that, a bit more subtle than that. They just sort of remind you of someone you once knew, like an old mate maybe from like years and years and years and years and years ago. Or an old auntie or an old uncle. And just people feel similar and people just sort of feel familiar, you know? And that kind of feeling, I reckon you'd still feel even you know 1,000 years ago. Like, people can quite in real life, people can quite easily recognize me amongst my brothers very, very easily, because we all move the same, we all pull the same kind of faces, we all and you know, I really don't think so if you moments like that, I think, can really help to draw that line between the two and think, yeah, you know, people could accomplish a lot of crazy stuff back then. It's not aliens, it's just us, we're cool. Evolution doesn't have that pronounced of an effect if people are thinking of that, you know, on these kinds of time scales at all. So yeah, anyway. Trump is president. I doubt that people are that smart. Well, of course, people can be quite dim too, but, you know, in general. You actually think people are recently getting more knowledgeable but less intelligent? Well, intelligence, I believe, intelligence is the idea of problem solving. Your ability to solve problems. And I don't know really what I think about what you just said there, but here is an interesting thought, and something I often find myself going back to, and it keeps me humble, I hope, at least, to some extent. I don't know if you guys have ever watched, like, these science shows where You know, we recognize certain individuals in the past as geniuses, you know, and we look at this person, whether it's a scientific genius or a musical or a literary genius, and we say these people are geniuses, and we justify our view of them as a genius by saying, look, they figured this thing out when no one else did. They found this way to write music. They found, you know, this law of nature. They interpreted this and this and this. Going back to ancient Egypt, I guess there's that thing of, didn't someone in to say ancient Egypt with such a wide brush is silly enough, I guess, but someone like figured out the circumference of the earth, right? You know, we call these people geniuses. Here's an interesting thing to look at. Read the story of those geniuses and follow along the information that they had at the time that they had it, and see if you can solve the problem just like they did, you know? So you give a random person the fact, okay, so you got a stick in the ground, it's like, you know, the shadow is stretching this far at the height of summer, and it's stretching this far, you know, at the height of winter, or the bottom of winter or whatever. Use these facts to figure out the circumference of the earth. Can you do it? Twitch chat. Can you do it? Here's the stats. Can you do it? Well, guess what? Some guy 2,000 years ago did it. And they got the circumference of the earth within a, you know, a tiny margin of error or whatever, right? Like, you follow these things, and to be honest, this idea that people aren't intelligent, people can't figure stuff out, I don't know whether I've never actually had an experience like that where I think I've genuinely innovated or figured something out, you know? Even if it was something that was previously known, you know? I guess at school there have been a lot of situations for basic things. But I find that stuff really quite fascinating, actually. And I think that that's probably a cool way to get people enthusiastic about those topics, you know? Crap, who was the guy that split light into a prism and then measured the temperature of the rainbow, the spectrum that was filtered onto the table? And then they found out, you know, essentially that infrared is higher energy or whatever is hotter and so on. Who was that again? You know, stuff like that. When you actually follow those stories about how people figured that out through experiment and stuff by the age of 20, yeah? By the age of 20. When you figure that stuff out, it's like, yeah, I'm never, you know, I'm never going to compete. So anyway. The problem with this idea is back then people didn't have the same mental mathematical models we have now. It would have been way harder. Yeah, I think you're right that it probably would be a pretty difficult thing to actually put to the test. Intelligence itself has exponentially increased. I think people throw that word around a lot, but it's probably quite often not the right word. But anyway, it has increased over the last decades. Intelligence is as in abstraction, categorizing. What has gone down through knowledge is knowledge of facts, stuff like history and simple facts. Yeah, that was Newton. There you go. It was Newton. Yeah. Pretty basic fact there. I didn't even know that. So there you go. Have you read Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything? No, I've been recommended. Oh, that is you. Xavier. I've been recommended that before. I was about to say, no, I've been recommended that by a friend before. You've asked me that before, dude, and I've said no. Yeah, I still haven't. Still haven't. But I know you swear by that book. I know you really enjoy that book. That was years ago you told me about that. Are you impressed that I remember you recommending me that back in like 2011 or whatever the hell it was? Maybe it was a bit later than that. Then you get scientists who die of radiation because they use a freaking screwdriver when doing experiments. Oh, dude, you reminded me. There's a really sad story about the guys that immediately after the Chernobyl disaster went to contain it. It's a really sad story. Lots of people died. All right. Okay, guys. I'm going to go get some coffee, and we are going to try to beat Guild Wars 2 with no dodges, no healing abilities, no armor, and a couple of other little things. Have you ever RP'd, says Royal. Royal, I get asked that like 20 times per stream, man. What? Do you do this to troll me? I actually don't get it, because you ask me so many questions. You're at so many streams, you would think you would know these answers. But then you ask me like the same question that gets asked and answered like probably every weekend I answer that question. Go watch the original Cosmos if you like this kind of discussion. Yeah, I gotta say that thing, what I was thinking about with Newton the Prism there, I was actually thinking of Neil deGrasse Tyson's sort of reboot of Cosmos or whatever. As I said that. Lily says I'm pretty sure it is a troll. No, but Royal quite often comes out with quite profound and interesting comments as well. I think he just throws a ton of stuff at the dartboard and sees what sticks. RP triggered. No, I'm not triggered. Alright, anyway, yeah, seriously. Be right back. Go get your coffee. I won't be long. We'll count it for... Well, it'll be a bit longer than 3 minutes this time because the water's stone cold. But I will be back in just a moment. See you soon, guys. All right. Okay, so should be pretty good. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I pinged in Discord. I haven't pinged anywhere else. It's probably a bad idea to have the finale or whatever as the series only in a Discord ping, but there you have it. So yeah, let me just look through chat during the intro there, make sure I didn't miss anything. In case anybody asked any questions. So Lily says, I got a sub. Did I really have a sub? And a donation? What? Was that you, Lily? Really? Already? The first 5 seconds? It was! What the heck? Happy Concrete Conspiracy Art Zhaitan stream. Wow, if that doesn't describe me, I don't know what does. Thanks very much for the 1 viewer host there, Glitch Squadron. That's legendary of you. Thank you. Jerry, 28 months, dude. Where has the time gone, he says. Keep up the good work, and I hope this is a good year for you. I hope it's a good year for me, too. I hope that all the little things that I'm thinking of come to fruition. Thank you very much. That's really cool, dude. And I hope you're there for the whole thing, really. I know I really do. Oyishi29 says, where did you end up rating-wise for the past PvP season? Here, we've looked so much at the face cam. I'll go in game. I ended up at rank 51. And for the last week of the season, I didn't really play. Well, no, not last week. 4 or 5 days? 6 days, maybe? I didn't really play. I just did the bare minimum to stop decay. And I sort of hung around here. Based on the other people around me, I was fluctuating about 48th place down to maybe 53. And I ended up at 51. So I think that's okay. Now, if there was an achievement for top 50, I would have gone for that. But there's not. There's an achievement for top 75. So if I'd played ranked here and lost, I would have gone about minus 20. And just to be clear, this is why I didn't go any further. I'm 51 at 714, so minus 20 would have been to 684 at least, right? So if we scroll to 684 is about here, and that would have been place 160. So a single loss, basically, would have shifted me from 51st on the leaderboard to below, you know, top 110. It would have shifted me really far down. So that would have tricked me out of a title, right? So I wanted top 75. So basically what I did was when I got to this point, I became a little wimp and I hid here. Now, if I'd played and won a single game and I'd gained like +8 or whatever, which is what you usually get at about that level, +8 would have put me quite high. It would have put me to like top 30. If I'd won 2 games in a row, you know, I might have been able to get anything. But basically the risk was just there was no point really. So I took this to get the title. And next season I might go a bit harder. I don't know. All my desire for PvP will have just disappeared and I will have gone with it. So there you go. That's where I ended. Another little story as well. Somebody randomly invited me for another AT today. And we progressed through. We beat everyone really easy. It was a whitewash until the finals where we got whitewashed. We lost the mid fight at the start, and after that we could never regain. So the game was just like we got destroyed. But the first mid fight was an okay fight, but I think I played badly in it. I was on this build here, this Mesmer build, and I Condi burst their Scourge by pushing the line. But the Scourge was running Fleshworm, which is you have to expect people are good, right? And so this was the finale. They just blinked back with the Fleshworm, stayed alive. And now I was, like, well out in enemy territory, and I'd used Blink aggressively to land the Prestige on my burst. So then I got focused and sort of crumpled under the pressure. My Firebrand couldn't get far enough forwards. You know, I don't have much experience anymore of proper team fighting. And again, it wasn't in TeamSpeak or anything like that. So, and then we lost the mid-fight. We had a choice. It was either me or we could have had a Power Mesmer that went for the mid-fight. I think probably the Power Mesmer should have gone for the mid-fight. Maybe they could have accomplished more. Maybe they're more used to this because I don't really play this side of stuff for the game anymore. But yeah, I sort of do feel responsible for the loss on the mid-fight. And so I only came second place on the tourney. But we're right at the start of January here. And I have 90 QP for January. So I think after just like 2 tourneys. So I don't know actually what this means really. Maybe I could get into a monthly, but I don't have a team. So, but I mean, monthlies are worth so much. Let me just be clear to people. just dipping into a monthly. Like, look at that. You get 250 gold, 400 gold, 500 gold. You get a lot of stuff. A special skin that no one else in the entire game will ever wear. I don't know, man. Anyway. So yeah, sorry, that was just Twitch chat. I didn't want to do another big PvP start to the stream, as I seem to continuously be doing. We will log in on the Ranger in just a moment. Oh, by the way, I think I have a desert armor box open, which I'll do in a second. So we will stay on this. All right, scrolling down. What else have people said? Stuff about Royal. Wait, his passive-aggressive attitude is too much. What, mine? Who's passive-aggressive? Oh, no, you're talking about someone else. Oh, don't be mean about one another. I mean, obviously, you're going to think mean things about one another, but don't throw it out in the public in my chat. Where's my new Nazi mod? Where is he? Where's Rav? I'm only joking. So what is my fursona? What do you mean fursona? What's a fursona? Is it like a persona? If the server crashes during the Zhaitan cinematic before the final phase of the fight, does that count as a death? It's a really interesting question, Ben, because back in the old days when I first started streaming, that was what people kept asking me as well during that original series about DCs. I think back then I just said I would count it as a death and we'd go again. So a DC would be like a rip run. I don't know how I feel about that now. I guess we'll see in the moment if it happens. POF had an amazing soundtrack, I agree. Yeah, oh, you're saying that because of the music on the intro. Yeah, good evening, Gribble Girl. And thanks again for the donation, Lily. How did he get an in-game login without a launcher? That's just a video that's made in a mock imitation of the old login screens. You can, however, run something called Guild Wars 2 Launch Buddy, which is exactly that. If you really care about that, as superficial and foolish as it is, Guild Wars 2 Launch Buddy, it's a third-party program that is perfectly TOS compliant and everything's fine about it. There are devs confirming it. That can give that to you. So just Google it. All the relevant information will be there. Don't take my word for it. Just have a slight little read around. In 10 minutes, you can have it. Come on, WP. As the finale of Merciless, you really want to announce it as much as possible, if nothing else, to celebrate the achievement. Yeah, but I did that yesterday. So now I feel like... And again, there's no actual videos. I'm waiting for an answer to the RP question. No, I haven't RP'd. No, there you go. There's your answer. So you're not trolling. You genuinely didn't know. I know, I ask this every third stream I'm at. Oh, okay, well, I'll just start ignoring you then. Hey, WP, can you only delete faction armor, not even sell for copper? Why? I don't know, dude. 256 games for that season. I'm baffled you have a high tolerance to bullshit. It's not bullshit, man. I've actually enjoyed the season. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be ashamed of that. I've enjoyed it. I don't think it's that bullshit. I think queuing has been... There has been a lot less domination of Scourge Firebrand combo in the high tier queues. And even low tier. I think this meta's been alright. I think the most things people whinge about are Engineer Minesweeper, which you can play around. Scourge, which you can play around. I mean, it's tricky to play around, but you can play around. Obviously, it depends on build. And the strength of Firebrand, which again you can play around. It's very immobile. You can move it. I don't know. I think that there's, you know, there's been a lot worse on Guild Wars 2. I've enjoyed this. If you like Conquest, if you like Guild Wars 2, I actually think that Season 9's been pretty alright. I don't know what this culture of constantly bitching and whinging is, but it drags the game down. Yeah, it's really 600 gold because you get the 100 mystic coins. Yeah, that's true, and each one's worth a thingy. And Joy's finally got my paycheck. Here's a piece of it for you. Oh, don't think of it that way. That makes me feel so bad. Oh, it's like you're paying a tax or something. Anyway, thank you. That's really lovely. Thank you for the entertaining content. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate that. You've never played a tourney? Well, people pug it. People Guild Wars 1 style pug it. You know, my experience of PvP at the moment is exactly like random arenas from Guild Wars 1. Exactly. It's 100% the random arenas experience, except there's one slight difference. Random arenas felt really rewarding because of the Gladiator title. But Guild Wars 2 has no sense of such reward because titles are completely arbitrary bollocks. So I found myself wishing for a title change or something again. You know, we've talked about this many times. I found myself really panging and pining for it earlier. Earlier today, with this realization. But it's basically random arenas experience, but without that like joy of pushing Gladiator titles. The sad thing is that Guild Wars 2 did have that experience once long ago, when the game launched, the ranking thing, this dragon, and climbing through the animals, that actually was really meaningful and it was good. And then some lunatic butchered it at Feature Pack 2, and I have no idea why, but I don't think they deserve a design job. It was such a shame when they did that. But there you have it. So now there is no sort of meaningful continual progress. And it's a bit of a shame. I take that back, obviously. A bit of an exaggeration for the joke. But it is a shame. So there you go. Alright, scrolling. Happy to see Flail doing PvP. Good to see you enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it, man. It's easy to make plays on this build. It's really easy. You just sort of roam around. Just don't die. You can do so much just by not dying in Conquest. That's literally so easy. Just decapping and stuff. It puts so much pressure on people. You're just this constant pressure. And if your team sucks, this build just keeps pressuring and pressuring and pressuring. It gives your allies so much time to pull their head out of their asses, and then you get these big comebacks. It's great. Like, if you look at my win rate here, this isn't even very good. This is mediocre. Out of the past, what is this, 11 games? I've only lost 3. It's just, you get an enormous number of wins playing this game, this build. I appreciate I haven't streamed it, but there you go. Anyway, because it's not supposed to be a PvP stream, I don't know why we're talking about that again. You have Steam set up with shortcuts to Guild Wars 2 with my email address and 63 character password for each account. Wow. Revealing the number of characters for your thing, that's bad, man. That's an easy way to, socially engineered now. You could be, you know, and I've announced this audibly, and it will be online now forevermore on Wood and Potatoes 2. I won't say your username, but people can always just rewind and see you represented on stream here. Sorry, I'll give you some audio here, guys. People don't like playing around stuff because they want to go in and not think about anything. Yeah, I mean, there is a big element of that. There's, like, Heart of the Mist is kind of a hilarious chat. There's lots of guild chat going on at the moment. Heart of the Mist is amazing. Like, the word cry there, I immediately see. It's just people whinging. It's so negative constantly. But the people whinging, if you actually see them in unranked, or if you actually end up queuing with them, you'll find out most people whinging are actually kind of terrible at the game. And what they're doing is they're losing and having these horrible sweeping losses. And they're blaming matchmaking, and they're just not realizing that it's kind of that they're just... Every time you get absolutely dunked, it's usually an opportunity to either learn something or bitch at the devs in the game. And most people these days seem to choose the latter of those two options. It's a shame, because the ones that learn something, I think, could probably go quite far. Much further than I can, obviously. So yeah, that I don't know. Being a bit judgy here, being a bit high horsey. You guys can bust out the high horse emotes if you like. Alright, scrolling. What dyes am I using? It looks really good. This is Permafrost, and it's one of the gold dyes, I guess. It's probably Aurora, though, that you're getting excited by. It's Pyre dye. There you go. I used to have the fingers of the Scourge thing as white, and just the rings were gold, but then I made it all yellow. Because I want to look like the sun. Yeah, 9,000... Since 2012, though. In 5 years, I've played 9,000 games. Won 5,000 of them. That's a good win rate you're looking at right there. Pretty saucy. Pretty saucy. I play this game too much. It's alright. I try to earn a living playing it. You talk about the anti-meta on a previous stream, and I really feel like it's not about playing bad builds, but more about playing other builds that can cover the same role than the brainless meta builds. I get you're probably driving at something, but I think without more context on your comment, I can't really respond to it very well. Ben says, my passwords were generated by the Gibson Research Corporation website. WP gave up on YouTube. What, because I didn't do a video over Christmas? I'm not allowed a Christmas without being accused of quitting YouTube. Will we see the Zephyrite's return in the future living story? Will ArenaNet maybe give some added history and a city? Four Winds Festival 2018. I would like to see the Four Winds return. I would like to see the Bazaar of the Four Winds return. I'd like to see them use Claw Island. I'd like to see a lot of things Season 1 based. I would love to see... So the RuneScape dev team, I don't know if you guys know, the RuneScape dev team just announced like a video where they talk about everything they want to do for the upcoming year. And apparently the one they did last year, they barely got like 20% of what they talked about into the game anyway, which, so, you know, how seriously would we take this year's? But I'd love to see something like that from ArenaNet. Obviously, promises are hilarious and people will hold them tooth and nail if any of them are so-called broken. And so, as a result, they won't ever do it. But it'd be really interesting to see that. I would love to see within the next week a dev post, a blog post come out where they say, hey guys, Living World Season 1 is coming back. And it will be here by Christmas or something like that. I'd love that. I finished Daybreak and would love to hear your thoughts. I've only played Daybreak once, so I don't really have too many thoughts right now. Do I have any plans for a new LP? Not Skyrim? That's kind of a weird question to answer. I do have no more non-Guild Wars stuff planned, yes. 20% more like 75%. 2017 was a horrible year for RuneScape. Really? Tell me more about that, because I didn't know about that. Alright, now we're going to get into Merciless. So, I'm now caught up with chat. So, let's get the timer on. Last time I have to do live split. Now, I said that yesterday, but this genuinely is the last time I have to do live split now. So, what was the timer? Oh, it's saved. No, it hasn't saved. Let's see. So, by the way, anyone new to this series, just so that you know, I'm trying to beat the game when it's really hard and stuff. And it's like a big challenge. And it's going to be really amazing. And I hope you enjoy. So there you go. Alright, we were 10 hours, 24 minutes, 21 seconds into the run. We're going to start it. Split. 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 There we go. Alright. So the time is rolling. I can't think of any better time to start. Now, there is a bit of a story here. A bit of a cheeky situation to talk to you all about. Now, yesterday, we finished the instance about cleansing ore. And we had a choice to make. Were we going to do the Grenth mission, or were we going to do the map instance with the Norn? And I said that at the start of today's stream, you guys would get to vote on that. You're not going to be able to vote on that. And the reason for this is this. After I finished that, and I clicked the hang up, but I stopped streaming on OBS. I looked back at the client. Moments after yesterday's stream, this is. Moments. Within 60 seconds of saying goodbye yesterday. I looked back at Guild Wars 2. And I realized that if I were to just log out without choosing one of the options, I'd have to redo the whole instance because the personal story hadn't technically completed yet until I made my decision. So I made the decision myself. You guys didn't get to vote because the stream was done at that point. I wasn't going to do like a 5-second stream saying, hey, what should I do? And then, you know, that would have just been weird. And weird for WP2 and stuff. So I just picked, and instead of the Grenth instance, which would have been really interesting, I know, especially with the Underworld as the new raid. And, you know, it's the Reaper of the Ice Wastes in both, or whatever it is, Chaos Plains. I can't remember which one. You know, as a, or was it even Bone Pits, maybe? It would have been interesting, but I haven't done the map instance for so long. I figured, hey, why not try it out? And, hey, that's going to be genuinely scary for me now. Maybe it's a really difficult instance. I've got no idea what's coming up in it. I really cannot remember it except the location of the cursed shore it takes place in. So we're going to do that. Now, the other side, the other consequence of that was I did get my reward for the personal story. And I got a selection between 3 weapons. So remember we were getting armor and armor and armor and armor and armor the whole way through the stream. We got a weapon this time. Really, really nice. They were all level 80 rare weapons. And one of them was a Condi short bow. The other was like, what was it, an axe again, I think. Or a power longbow. Look at this. Berserker's Elder longbow. Beautiful. So we've just jumped from a level 40 bow that's green to a level 81. So our ranged damage just went way up. So that was something else. And all of that happened within 60 seconds of me turning off the stream yesterday. And it was just so that I didn't have to redo that whole instance. So I do apologize we didn't get to see that. And it did really sort of sting. But, you know, we got to live with the mistakes we've made. And that's sort of what was going on. So there you have it. And now we're going to come down here to the map instance. We're going to meet Romke's ghost and his crew near Desmina's Hallows. Now, if you play a certain type of Norn, you can choose that, like, a legendary hero from your past is Romke, I think. And there's even a little bit of unique dialogue here. So there's a callback to some human characters if you choose the Grenth option, and there's a callback to the Norn if you choose this one. But so, yeah, here we go. We're going to go for it now. I'm not going to do anything really to advertise the stream. So if you guys really enjoy this and you want other people to watch it and enjoy the tension and stuff of the final moments of the story, if you do tell people I'm live and want to, you know, link it around, then let me know if you do. It's quite an awesome year for games. Had some bad things too, but great games were released. What were the bad things? Is it got something to do with EA, maybe? Oh, wait. That was yesterday's stream. Jesus Christ, I keep doing that. I've recognized that from yesterday. We were talking about Game of the Years and stuff. You can't hear the game at all, really? Let's see if you can now. Romke's final voyage. Will this be our final voyage? This is great. Okay. I'm genuinely a bit scared. I've got no idea what we got coming up. I'm going to listen to the dialogue too, because I haven't for ages.
Greetings, traveler. I am Romke. Well, I was Romke. It's been a long time since I encountered such nobility on these corrupted shores.
Well met, Romke. I've come to recover your legendary map. My allies and I seek the source of ore, so that we can cleanse this blasted landscape.
At last, thank the spirits. My crew and I have waited centuries for someone like you. We were explorers, seeking to circumnavigate the globe. Our journey ended when ore rose beneath us, trapping our ship on the spire of a mountain. The undead swarmed around us. We knew we had to get out. We fought through and commandeered the pirates, but in the end, we were overwhelmed. The map you seek is a sacred thing, blessed by all four spirits of the wild. Even in death, we could not leave it in this wretched place. While it languishes, trapped and forgotten, so must our spirits. But if someone like you reclaims the map, we can finally move on. I can tell your motives are pure. Come, meet us at Masolus shores, and we will show you where the map lies. The rest is up to you.
Masolus? I have always said that word as Mausolus. Really? Masolus? Am I just an idiot? Masolus?
Welcome, explorers. The sunken wreck that holds the map is this way, just offshore.
Thank you, Romke. We'll do our best to set you and your crew free.
Our map will show the way to your destination. Recovered, and we all benefit.
Relox Critter Rampage as Game of the Year 2018.
Those are the remains of our ship, the Wayfarer. I mourn her as if she were my own mother.
Interesting how they just keep piling the dialogue right at the start of the instance here instead of filtering it through as stuff goes on. Wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is all pretty forgettable dialogue, right? Like, it's all just... We've been waiting a long time for someone like you. It's maddening knowing that the map is within our reach, but we can't do anything about it. This should have been like the next legendary shield. Just a paper-thin map. That would look good on our backs. Well, actually, they could do a really cool unfolding, like, animation and stuff. I don't know. You have no idea what it's like. We were supposed to be sailing the world, facing new challenges. Here, we're trapped. We're fighting the same enemies year after year, decade after decade. And this guy is having a pee in that bush over there. You should have seen us in our prime. We'd be sitting by the fire, drinking brandy and reading that map by now. All right, well, let's see. Let's see how our new bow feels, shall we? Not great, to be honest. But yeah, I don't remember any bosses here. So to think of the the human one has a boss in it at the end of the instance and a large defense. Yeah, curse the Dragon of War and your pride, I'm sure, dude. So I don't know actually whether whether we've got anything challenging coming up, but I guess we'll see. Loving the piercing trait right now. Really working super well. Much better than it was yesterday. Let's get the Drake's Breath going. EA legitimately ruins people's lives too, but it's funny that it's not even what people get mad about. Well, there is that amazing, like, famous blog post from that wife of the guy that worked at EA, right? That was talking about the crunch and stuff. I don't know. It's not an easy life being a game dev, is it? It's not an easy life. You get crunch. You get little credit. You get little pay compared to your programming talents. Well, I don't know. It depends what exactly you do. You get idiots on the internet criticizing everything you do, like yours truly. You're welcome. I don't know. It's a hell of a job. You gotta really, really love the industry. Well, EA, you know, we're talking about EA as functioning as publishers more than anything else, right? That's what people criticize. You have to love development. You have to love working in teams. Who wants to work in a team, though? Let me just tell you that. Who? Gamers are a whiny bunch.
Too easy. Thousands of undead covered in seaweed and grime, marching toward.
You're a software dev, and there's no amount of money that EA could offer you to work for them. No amount of money. I mean, that sounds like an exaggeration right there. No amount of money? Come on, man. Every man has his price. I really do believe that. Or if you don't have a price yet, you just haven't hit rock bottom. All you got to do is give someone a taste of rock bottom. You got to give them a taste of, you know, really, really difficult living. A taste of no financial security and, you know, all the negatives that come with that before then offering them their price. And they will have their price. Thanks for your criticism, says Mayo.
My crew, they died fighting. We fought.
I wonder if they did actually give the Norn dialogue here, if you had picked the right option. There might have been a single throwaway line. You know, I started a second playthrough of Divinity Original Sin 2 last night as well, after I was done with everything. And, you know, I only got like an hour or two in there before then having to go to bed. But, what a fascinating game. I think I learned a lot more about why that game's so great on replay than I did. Why isn't the pet going in? This is so obscene. Than I did on the first playthrough. To really understand, if you play like a ton of different characters, you do a different origin story and stuff, to realize how much dialogue Larian baked into every little moment based on your character creation choices is insane. It's the kind of thing I wish Guild Wars had done. The game seems really loud to me. I'm going to turn my speakers down. Is it okay, guys? Is the balance alright? Because I keep coming back and watching stream VODs and finding that the audio is like overpowering my voice, and it really frustrates me. It is okay, alright. I'm going to trust you guys. That doesn't count. How did I Wait, what? What did I unbind there? That doesn't count. That's not a reset. That doesn't count. I didn't actually do anything there. That was just to move slightly further forwards. No, that doesn't count. It doesn't count, people. Look, I took more damage undoing the bind. I thought I unbound them, though. I thought when we were in Heart of the Mist, we clearly unbound healing. Why didn't we unbind dodging? What did I unbind before? What's wrong with me? That does not count. Alright, okay, I guess it counts. Rip, run. Alright, never mind. No, I'm trolling you. Did I unbind jump? No, I have jump bound. Alright, let's see here. I'm not actually paying any attention to the story here, by the way. The map will show the way to your destination. Recover it and we all benefit. Those are the remains of our ship, the Wayfarer. I swore the magical map could take us to Cantha. Bet against Wolf himself that we would succeed, and it was my stubbornness that brought us here. Curse the Dragon of Ore, curse my pride. The sea fled from under us. The mountains rose, and the Wayfarer was scuttled in an instant. Thousands of undead, covered in seaweed and brine, marching towards Ara. I've never seen such horror. One Norn ship against a tide of foulness and abomination. Lesser Norn might have hidden in fear, died of starvation. My crew, they died fighting. We four were the last. We built a smaller craft out of our wreckage and planned to make our way to Lion's Arch, but we failed. Hawk fell first, sword in one hand and a dead man's arm in the other. They overpowered Shoerd with numbers. It took 50 of them to break his strength. We'll hear about the fates of more of them, I guess. Halo Reach style. This is interesting. I actually kind of like the idea of giving that like really solid depiction of what Ara was like and stuff right before we go there. I'm really glad I accidentally pressed that bind there, because if I'd actually done that in a situation where that caused me to evade, or, you know, there was, if I was even actually in combat, I think that would have been really nasty. Lots of reflect and blocks here. We just got to wait. There we go. Can knock him away as well. Might have even interrupted the lava font animation there. We'll go back to the Drake for a second. This guy's not actually doing any damage. How? How is this a thing? Why is his lava font hitting nothing, ArenaNet? Why? Oh, that one's actually hitting a bit harder. So that's just straight up lava font there, by the way. I guess it's because he got a few glancing blows from the Axe 3.
Rather than let them beat it. To my shame, the scow was scuttled. The map lost, and we cursed to walk this land.
What was that he said? Yifke chose to drown rather than let them beat her. To my shame, the scow was scuttled, the map lost, and we cursed to walk this land. I love seeing... How often have we watched Zhaitan just in the background using... Yeah, over already. Yeah, it is.
If we return Wolf's map, the spirits of the wild will finally forgive my foolish pride.
What's up, guys? You're all alive. That would make a good fractal. You're damn right that would. Start off on a boat and then watch the water evaporate around you. Inhabit the Norn. Defend yourselves to the last. Yeah, that would be a good fractal, dude.
Ready. You there. If you want to survive, help us defend this beachhead.
Nice try, Mr. Fancy Pants, but we only fight for gold. Run for it, boys!
Run, you filthy cowards. I'm calling in air support. We need to hold on until it arrives.
Yeah.
You can have our help, but we can't touch the map. You must do it.
We're not leaving until our path to the source of ore is clear.
We'll hold out on the beach.
Well done.
Attach the wall. Seize the moment, enter the water, and retrieve the map.
That's interesting. Zhaitan's VA there is really curious sounding. I don't know. Something sounds just different about it there. I wonder if it was recorded after HOT came out, maybe? And they rebuilt some of this stuff. There are a lot of moments that would make good fractals. The team has so much work. Oh yeah, I mean, if they find themselves short on inspiration, that would be something that would genuinely upset me about the devs. To just like have no idea what they want to do. I'm sure that that's just not a thing though, right? Because there's just so many great ideas. It's so easy to be inspired and think of cool things to talk about and to make. You don't have to go to a forum to figure that stuff out. Just play the game. Repel the Risen air support until... repair the Risen until air supports arrived. Is that to nuke the ship? It's quite a pretty instance. I don't think anything in the personal story as yet has beaten... We're actually being sieged by the ships here with giant fish. Nothing's beaten that shadow from that giant yesterday. That was so good. Beautiful.
Well done.
Well done. Now that they have done ships that you can be on and interact with, maybe it is possible. Yeah, you know, I'm always curious about that stuff like that, because the devs actually mentioned in the AMA that that was really hard to hook up and that they were really proud of that. But is that now done? Is that like a finished job? Is that like, you know, something for the database that can be applied and used anywhere they like now? Or is that a really hacky, one-time only thing that we're not going to find anywhere else? You know, a good example is the instance we're going to go into in a second, victory or death. If we make it through this, the actual fight against Zhaitan, yeah? That's going to be really interesting because... sorry, what am I talking about? That's an interesting instance because it's got the flying on the airships and stuff. But once they built that capability, they didn't then filter it through the rest of the game. It took till the launch of Path of Fire before we had any other on-airship action because it was so hackily dealt with that they're limited in how much they can use it. So you'd like to think that if they make something, they've made it to be renewable and reapplied, you know, by later designers without having to go through all the busy work again. That's what you want, right? But I don't know whether the Path of Fire ships are actually like that. The year is 2023. AGDQ is live with 200,000 consecutive viewers. Subscriber mode, R9K, and 10-minute slow mode are enabled. Autobot is set to the highest level. Chat is completely empty. This is the future we've brought. No, that's not right, Ewendell. It's almost right. It's just there is a slight difference. It will be completely empty, and then about 30 seconds later, there'll be a single kappa. It'll be like one person in chat who says, "Lol, get wrecked, kappa." I'm so funny. That'll be what it is. That's the true essence of Twitch chat. I need to heal because I'm a bit scared. And I don't want to give you guys opportunities to type to me now. Ha ha ha, get wrecked. How long have I got to defend here? I can always just kite back down that tunnel anyway, right? Or tunnel-ish thing. Don't forget the comments saying cringe. Yeah, everything's cringy on the internet, everything. Honestly, so little makes me cringe now. I always assume if someone's cringing at something on the internet, they're probably quite young. Because I used to cringe quite a lot when I was young, but now I just sort of don't care a lot about a lot of things. I love cringe, by the way. I love cringe humor. I really enjoy cringy situations. I enjoy sort of relishing in those like social faux pas and like gross moments you sort of can enjoy vicariously. But I sort of don't feel it very much anymore. You know, I could genuinely turn on OBS one day, accidentally have a face cam, and not realize, and you guys are all looking at me and I'm picking my nose or something. And I'd probably cringe at that, but it wouldn't be that bad. Sounds like WP is a cringe queen. Now, I tend to think the people that cringe at everything are probably more likely to be awkward and weird in conversation and in real life, and cringy than those that sort of don't care so much. I mean, there's obviously scales we're dealing with here. Alright, there we go. Clear any remaining risen from the beach. All of these, really? The ship's breaking. That looks great as well. This is what you need to do more of, ArenaNet. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my God. With the airship in the background? Give it to me. So good. Let's be real. Who doesn't pick their nose? I read a legitimate tip the other day that was basically you guys should pick your noses while you're showering in the morning. Because it's not gross if you do it in the morning. If you do charity stuff, keep it fucking real. Where's that coming from? Oh, someone said, what about when you're drunk and you later cringe? Actually, that's a good point. I do feel that quite a lot. I get very low after I've been drinking. Like, the following morning, I'm always just like... And I know it's my emotions playing with me, and I know it's like the you know, the chemistry of my body affecting my thoughts. But after drinking, I do tend to get like overly worried or paranoid or not necessarily cringy, but you know, nothing notable will have happened. No one will have remembered what I did that night or whether it was actually important. Nobody cares. You know, I could have had mates that are vomiting all over themselves on the street, and you know, they've got something to genuinely be concerned about the next day. You know, and I wouldn't have done anything, but I'll be like overly insecure about like minor bollocks, basically. I do get that after I've been drinking. That is true. I do experience that. It's that thing, though. Everyone's always more focused on themselves than around those around them. All right, can I just press F on this? Do I have to fight Romke? Veteran undead Romke? Do you think he's hard? I don't want to fight him and the pirates around. So hold on, though. If Romke's here, but his spirit's over there, what does that say about the undead and the way that they've been resurrected? Okay, in the cutscene, we're actually safe. So let's see what happens here.
But it looks like an ordinary nautical chart of the area.
We're invulnerable as long as this cutscene's going on, so he cannot hit us. He cannot put us into downstate. He cannot kill us.
The traveler opens it and speaks their destination aloud. The map will then display the target location, everything around it, and everything between it and the traveler's current position. We shouldn't linger here. Let's return to Romke on the shore. If he's there, he can verify the map's authenticity.
Alright. Oh my god, I was so scared I was going to zone in dead there. But it looks like our pet has managed to solo 25% of its health. So good job there. Dotsy says, you always manage to catch a part of the conversation and I look like the asshole. Yeah, that happens a lot on chat. That does happen a lot. Sometimes I get really mad at it as well. I'm like, oh, how dare you say that? It's like, no, WP, I wasn't talking to you. That's my own insecurities there. Real, normal, non-alcohol related insecurities. I know what you mean so much. Morning after, why did I say that? Panic. Yeah, right? But nobody... You know, one thing that I always try to calm myself if I feel that is like, everyone else was just as drunk as you, if not more. Like, they're not going to remember. Like, what you got to do in that moment is think about what would supposedly be embarrassing about your mates that they've done and the people you're hanging out with, and whether you care. Whether, first of all, that those events exist, and then two, whether you actually care. If you find that you yourself don't care, then don't worry about it. Anyway, all right, Romke, translate this for me.
Found the map. This is a great day.
Indeed. But you must show us how to use the map to find the source of ore.
See, doesn't your head sound different?
By calling upon the spirits of the wild, their power makes the map function. You found the map. This is a great day.
Indeed. But you must show us how to use the map to find the source of ore.
Why is it repeating?
It starts by calling
What?
upon the spirits of the wild. Their power makes the map function.
I think that growing up and learning to be a good person, you keep learning, you keep growing, you keep striving to change yourself until you fully don't care what other people think anymore. I think most people don't, and most old people no longer give a crap. The point is that by the time you get to that point, hopefully you're a nice person. Because there's nothing worse than an old twat, an old man, an old woman that is like judgy and aggressive and rude and mean. And there's a lot of them out there. Or is ignorant, has got no idea about anything in the goddamn, you know. Like, that's really annoying. But if by the time you get to that point you're nice, then, you know, there you go, boom. It's not just like learning and growing and changing your personality isn't just from the ages 1 to 18, because that's what the law says in your country, or 1 to 16 or whatever.
Good work today, Commander. We freed the spirits of Romke and his crew. And now we have the means to find the source of...
Alright, I no longer care about that because we're done with the instance. Problem. The instance has not ended, and it's because I skipped fighting Romke. So if I fight Romke now, can I... Is it done? If I fight Romke? Oh dear. I'm a bit worried now. I'm a little bit worried. Back to the other topic. In the Path of Fire story, you need to reanimate your body with a special power from that monster. So does that mean your spirit and body are separate from one another in this franchise? Seems to line up here. Yeah, it does seem to be that's the suggestion, doesn't it? I can't leave. It's not done. We're still on Romke's final voyage. That should have been the end of the story there. We will kill the old crew, I guess. We'll start with Yifka. And we'll res Trahearn. I'll ink shot there. And hope it moves to the Drake. Now, we do have this badass new harpoon gun, so our kill speed's alright. I think they redid the voiceover outside the cutscenes, but not the dialogue in the side-by-sides. That would make sense. He does sound different, doesn't he? It sounds like they went back to it. Why is still very British? That's the important question. I'm not sure. Oh, my lord! Hawk! Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Get on the Drake. How the heck? Dart. Jesus. One ability that was. One ability. He's basically a shark. Defeat the risen versions of his whole crew, it says so. Being honest isn't an excuse to be an arsehole. What the hell, man? He's got dart as well. Come on, attack the other guy. Attack the other guy. What are you on me for? This is really bad. I think I cancel cast that somehow. Oh my god. Talk about playing 50% of the game. I mean, really. What an amazing representation of that this is. Alright. Let's res Trahearn poo. I mean, this might be broken fully now. I don't know, really. Our little skip there might have been a really bad idea. We might have to redo the whole thing. The whole stream might be about to go back to the start, and we're already 75 minutes in. If this is fully broken, we have wasted 75 minutes talking about PvP and random nonsense. And doing an instance that we have to recomplete, so... What's the difference between a dirty bus stop and a large-breasted crab? One's a crusty bus station, and the other's a busty crust station. There you go, Broad Quaggan. I hope you enjoyed that. You guys can submit more jokes for professional reading to me at Wooden Tato. Oh, I had a donation. I did! Yuendo! Sup, dudes? Careful, I don't want to read it for a second. Hold on, sorry, Yuendo. I've got to be really careful here, because I'm a bit concerned about him suddenly attacking me. I think I'll be fine. Hi, Domo. Domo? First-time viewer, first-time donator. Greetings from Germany. My social life died from... Oh, there we go. It did finish. Hype. I wonder what that cutscene was there that I just skipped. Maybe I should have let it roll. Sorry, my social life died from cancer 2 years ago. Really happy to be able to donate to such a good cause. The money goes to save the frames, kill the Germans. Hype. Dude, that's I didn't really think that was your sense of humor. Anyway, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Boom. And we're done with that instance. Thank you very much, Yundal. That's very cool. It's like I'm doing a charity stream somehow. Alright, next instance, the source of ore. So, every time I've done this, I've done a little story. I guess I'll do it again, just so that you guys know. The original implementation of Guild Wars 2's personal story was they were really scared. They were too scared for their own good. They were too scared to put story instances behind meta events, generally speaking. They were too scared to make dungeons, what's the word? Obligatory. They went too far down the freedom angle, in my opinion, and they sort of ruined a lot of really great opportunities to filter players throughout various things. So the result was they wanted the entire personal story to be fully soloable, impossible to fail and die at, and as easy as it can be. And they did it in what apparently seems like a single weekend, right? That's basically what the personal story became. As a result of all of those philosophies that they enforced top level, what that meant was they gave sort of a fake end to the personal story, where you can solo it and you won't die, or you won't fail, sorry. You can die, but you'll instantly respawn or whatever. They gave you kind of an end to the personal story, so that you could feel happy and accomplished and good without ever having to actually being in a party or interact with any other people. Losing sight completely of the fact they were making an MMO and opportunities to make your players socialize was probably a good thing. But, you know, respecting the player's time and whatnot and so on and so on and so on. So what they did was they made kind of an end to the personal story that wasn't any kind of narrative end, really, but was a finale without having to do the dungeon. And that's what we're now experiencing. It's called the Source of Awe. In fact, I think a lot of what happened in the story, you know this big Deus Ex Machina I was talking about earlier? I think a lot of it actually comes from their design decision to do this. I think basically they created this idea of 2 wild hunts instead of 1. Instead of the game eventually coalescing to this one story, my god, about killing Zhaitan, they kind of constructed this other thing, or pushed harder with this other thing about Traherne. And they said, all right, let's have it about 2 things. One is about killing the dragon. The other one is about cleansing ore. And I actually really like the idea that there's 2 wild hunts that they compare with one another and that we deal with both as the story goes along. But so essentially that's what we're looking at now. I think there were some good things that were born from it that did enrich in the story, but mostly it frustrates the hell out of me. But that's what we're now on, the Source of Ore. This was the end of the personal story for a long time. Eventually, they decided to make the dungeon experience a part of the story too, and tacked it on also.
Soldiers of the Pact, you are not merely our best hope. You are our only.
So I'm not going to do dialogue. So that's why this is a very Guild Wars 1 style instance. Lots of all the characters that we care about or supposedly care about or that we met as it goes through reappear. This is Mira, that woman, probably the hardest part in the entire personal story, when she's getting mauled on the beach and now she's bald and she's got a messed up face and stuff. You know, these are all characters we recognize. The Pale Reavers, Sires here, anyone who survived to this point essentially. And then at the end, very much Guild Wars 1 style, we're going to have like a celebration moment where all those characters reappear as well. It's just so incoherent, the end of this game. Oh. Music at max. The OST in this is amazing. Alright, if you want to hear a bit more music. We're on Battle of Kylo music still, as always, right now. Oh, I hate what you just said there, Ewan. I hope you're trolling. But the whole, oh, well, it is the personal story. I'm actually really scared right now. Running full speed away with swiftness. I hate that. I hate that so many terrible ideas about the personal story, or the perpetuation, is that a word? Of so many terrible ideas in the personal story continue to be, like, advocated by the community just because they like the word personal. This arbitrary semantic, like, based discussion of, oh, it's the personal story. Why is Traherne existing? It's the personal story. Why aren't more of my choices honored? It's the personal story. Honestly, I want to slap people that say that. It's so frustrating to me. How about we just make a good game, yeah? And we forget about that one word. Let's just call it the story journal. Oh, your entire argument is gone. Okay. God forbid somebody doesn't disagree with Wind Potatoes. I love the thought that you're, like, really angry right now. So we got lots of these guys, and you'd be really scared to fight them, but I believe they become allied. I believe they should become allied, shouldn't they? You don't have to fight 4 champions at once. They become allies. There we go. Okay, good. And this is a nice little moment there as well, by the way. But it is my story journal. Oh, broiled Quaggan. My girlfriend of 15 months broke up with me. Please comfort me, WP. Dude, that sucks. What was it? What was the... Why don't you tell chat what the straw that broke the camel's back was? And we'll tell you what we think. Probably criticize you, because that's the internet. Alright, I'm kind of scared here, so you guys can have fun with that relationship story. I need to focus on this fight. I'm really scared of this. We're going to be kiting back out of the exit as much as possible. I don't remember if the devs were smart enough to close that door, and also smart enough to make all of his attacks extend across the entire room. I'm hoping, I'm banking on them not, because I don't actually think we'll do that well here. Okay. Pet's too far from the target. We're over 1500 range right now. Let's just get a grip, right? Let's just learn a bit about the fight. We're over 1500 range. He's patrolling. He's trying to use the animation, but I think he's out of range, so the beams aren't appearing. I think that's the way it's working. Pet's going in. So we're looking at penetrating beam here. Okay, phase. Slapped us with something that never appeared in the combat log. I guess it didn't do any damage. It just put Vuln on us. Here's the bullet hell. Don't know what that attack's called, and I don't remember how dangerous it is. Can the Drake go in? The lesser eyes? Can we kill the lesser eyes? No, they're invulnerable. Is there a wiki page for lesser eye? No, this is like raids, long before raids existed. Do I need to attack him? Does he stop with this phase eventually? Most of my focus is on the floor right now. I'm just pressing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Go, Drake! Do you want to actually accomplish something? What's it doing? Why is it attacking the lesser eye? Attack the actual eye. Oh, they're knockbacks. Okay, that's pretty frustrating. Oh, God, and they hurt as well. Alright, this is good. I can stand behind the Drake, though. I'm going to put the Hound out. I need these regens. I pressed F2 and it didn't do anything for ages. I'm actually really scared. I'm pulling away for a second here. Just to regen via the Signet. We're going to wait. Zhaitan's face tanking that. When he dies, I don't know what will happen. I guess they want me to actually break that break bar. Maybe I can just leave it for the rest of the fight. I don't know. Potentially a health threat. So Zhaitan's down. So that's a line of defense, essentially. What the hell? What did that not actually do anything? It didn't give me regen or anything, did it? Why did I not get a heal from the F2 there? Oof. Did he get interrupted in the middle of it and it put on full cooldown? Alright, there's one. Alright, the Fernhound's going in. I'm doing really well here, aren't I? Admit it. Alright, he's talking. Is he going to move? I love the hitboxes on these, by the way. It's really good. Feels really, really tight. Feels like you can really move and get around them quite often. And I mean, I'm playing across the Atlantic right now, and the game is updating. Can that barrage actually hit? I mean, I haven't been barraging because I overcompensated there. What's it called? It's called Bullet Eye Hell. Eye Bullet Hell. Let's pull the pet back. I mean, the Signet heal alone is sort of enough right now. Right, can he get the Howl? I was out of range. Oh, no, I wasn't out of range. We're okay. It's getting lower. So I wonder how other classes would deal with this. Ow, I got hit by 2 of them there. There we go. Sorry. Woo, there we go. Woo, woo. Oh my god. All right, there you go. We saved King Razor, who will appear as a minor NPC in Siren's Landing a few years later. Not split. No, victory or death ends at the end of the next instance. That Signet heal seems worse than the Warrior Signet heal. Yeah, because it's not actually a heal Signet. It's not in the heal slot. It's not in the designated heal slot. So yeah, it's called I Bullet Hell. Interesting name for a skill. You can really see what the devs are going for. One of them crit me for 5k there. That's actually kind of scary. 12,000 health. One of them crits me for 5k. Are you ever going to make a new video on the patch? What patch? I've done loads of Istan videos. Alright, so there you go. That's the end of the main story. And Zhaitan's Wild Hunt is done. Can you guys even hear it? It's very quiet. This is a great idea as well. A really good idea for a moment. Shame it never had the QA that it needed. This is a really cool idea. Can you imagine if this was actually tense? Can you actually imagine how this game would have ended if this really pressured us and was scary and it was like some major victory moment? Where all the skills you've learned and all the talents and things you've acquired as the game's gone along and all the heroes and characters that you've actually connected with all come pouring in against enemies that you've become associated as being genuinely dangerous enemies. What a great phase this would be. And then Zhaitan kills them all. Yeah, I haven't talked about the story of the Istan thing, but that's all. This was pretty well done in the Heart of Thorns last boss fight. Yeah, I think that it was much better in Heart of Thorns. The quality way up. They are capable of delivering what I've always wanted right now. The guys, the talent, the infrastructure at that company, they are capable of delivering it now. They are. They've learned what Guild Wars 2 is. They've learned how to make Guild Wars 2. They've learned what they've got. They could utilize, if that team, if that company just went back and dedicated a year to making the personal story now, they would make a gorgeous, incredible experience. This is your favorite moment in the personal story? The climax? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how profound of a comment that is, really. I would hope that the climax would be a favorite moment. You tried to play Finn on this night once, but it was too hard. Really? I admire your talent for that, though. Alright, so now you might be like, okay, so what's up with a weird thing back at Fort Trinity? This is where, essentially, the story is done. And the instance we're now going to. So now, after everything, finally now, they're going to start hinting at the existence of, oh, by the way, we've been building an airship that's going to kill an Elder Dragon. Just BT dubs. That's had nothing to do with anything going on. But there you go. There were some vague references to one of the characters in the story, Professor Gore, is his technology. So don't worry about that. If you guys have noticed, on our version as a child playing through this game, we've not even met Gore, except for that one instance with the eyes on the airship, where we were looking at that vision or whatever. So now the actual, you know, the story that we should have experienced has just been going on secretly. Shh, it's fine. I mean, what baffles me with this is, even if you were constrained with time, right? Like, there's no excuse, really, for this, what they do here narratively. There's none. Like, shouldn't that question of how to beat an Elder Dragon have been at the forefront of their mind the entire time making the game? Shouldn't, of all the instances, except maybe the domestic stuff early on, shouldn't everything they made have been in the service of answering that question? But they just didn't even think to, like, I mean, I'm an idiot. I'm an unqualified moron, and I know that they should have been answering that. Maybe I only know, though, because I've seen the consequence of not doing it. I don't know. It's very weird, though. It's very, very strange. I don't know how you get to the position where you've done everything, and you're like, oh, God, how do we actually just answer how to fight the dragon? But that's the situation they were in. You're looking at it right here, baby. This is it. No, they didn't really answer it with Morgenworth either. I mean, even with Heart of Thorns. Heart of Thorns, I think I can understand a bit better with Heart of Thorns, though, because Heart of Thorns was, like, they were trying to tell a very narrow story and a very, like, clear and direct route through the jungle and stuff, and that meant they culled a lot of things away. And I can understand it a bit with Heart of Thorns. Also, Heart of Thorns was developed under incredible time constraints and pressures, and it was rushed, basically. And I think there was some dev changes sort of circling around it too, which might have constrained things. I don't know. That's all my own speculation, obviously. It's probably just bad communication and management. Everyone assumes that someone else is thinking about that part of it. By the time they realize they needed to cram something in, this is what they had time for. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, and that's what I said yesterday as well. You know, they're management issues, right? It's not like some individual. It'll be, and again, I think that's the lack of like a vision holder. You know, that's the lack of someone in one individual who really has very tight rein and grasp and understanding on everything about this aspect of the game. You know. That's really what it comes down to. So our trusty skimmer, I will just point out, our skimmer has been a great companion throughout the story here. Our skimmer has lifted us very casually through all open world content. Evaded, given us a speed boost, and allowed us to avoid underwater sections and dangerous bull sharks and crates. And look at him celebrating there a little bit with his little happy twirl. This skimmer has now carried us to our final destination. The Gates of Arar, at the heart of Or. And this is it. This is victory or death. You can see it's written up there. The split says victory or death. This is it. This is the final instance. This was once upon a time a 5-man dungeon. It has now been retooled and retuned to be a soloable personal story instance. It is the featured death of Zhaitan, the Elder Dragon. And we're going to do it without dodging and stuff. It's also a beautiful little instance. It's one of the most beautiful things the game ever delivered. Ever. It's truly gorgeous. And anyone who frequently runs the explorable mode of this dungeon will already know, based on the geometry and stuff here, that this is actually a totally different map we're in right now. Totally different map. I always love exploring this as well. So there's going to be a ton of characters here. We've got no idea who they are, and that's because it's dungeon stuff, which the devs never felt fit to properly give us good incentive to go and hang out with, aside from random arbitrary males that most people learn to ignore. So we know one of them, and that's Ritlock, who featured a little bit in our domestic stories. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to joke that the final boss is really easy. The actual final boss of this challenge is just before it. It's the penultimate boss. It's a Mouth of Morgemoth that forced a dodge out of me before, and we cannot dodge anymore. We can't. So, just to be clear, the Necro that beat this had to dodge to save its own life. Had to. If it didn't dodge, it was dead. And I did it, and that was okay, because that old challenge had that built in. This time, it's different. This time, we cannot dodge, so we might genuinely die. I'm actually really scared of that Mark and Mortimer fight. I'm as scared of that as the Keita Mance one, which you saw on yesterday's stream. And if anyone was here yesterday, you'll remember how tricky that was. For the mouth, you should greatsword for blocks. Does he block? He has phases, right? Is it blocking that he does, or is it just he becomes tanky? Mouth of Zhaitan. Sorry, yeah, not Mouth of Morgemoth. Mouth of Zhaitan. Yeah. Yeah, I mean Mouth of Zhaitan. Yeah, but Necro isn't personal story meta. Check Metal Battle. Well, Necro basically is. This is a beautiful cutscene. I almost cringe skipping it. Truly adorable cutscene right there. If you were in charge of the old personal story, how would you handle story mode dungeons? Rescale them for solo play and make them a natural part of the story progression or something else? I would have them be 5-man content that you have to be as you play through it. That's what I would have. I would have them soloable, but I'd have them soloable to the same extent that dungeons are currently soloable. Explorable dungeons are currently soloable. And story mode for all of them except this. I would have players be asked to talk to one another and interface with one another and be sociable in an MMO and visit LFG to accomplish their aims and meet people and get in guilds and have experiences, so they're not so scared to do fractals later when they get to 80 and then later raids and so on. I would not be scared to do that even remotely, and I don't care about respecting players' time and all that other nonsense. This is why I said yesterday you wouldn't want me as a dev. Because the way I feel about various aspects of Guild Wars are very against what Guild Wars is. Yeah, I would just have, you know, at level 30, you've got to go do AC. I would restructure it to make it feel better. It would be part of something. It wouldn't feel like a chore. A lot of you are going to hear me say that, and you're going to think of AC as it currently exists in the personal story, as it currently exists in rewards and all that stuff as it currently exists. And you're going to think, oh, God, that would be awful. But no, no, no. I would have dungeons in Guild Wars 2 be campaign missions, as campaign missions were to primary quests in Guild Wars 1 was to the personal story, if that makes sense. I would have that same setup. And I know GW1 had henchmen and later heroes that supplemented the experience. But again, that's I would have. There would be some possibility to solo these things. It would just, the game would make it very clear. Hey, we didn't design this to be soloed. You can try it. Okay, I'm scared. Signet of Stone and just pushing away for a second. He hit really hard there. Let's look at the strike. Uppercut, 3,777 damage. But he also hit me with 2 other packets of damage that don't even have a name. Terra does that. Blade and Soul does as well, I'm almost sure. Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, I see no problem with it. I really don't. I think that stuff's important. I would also have a lot more story locked behind metas and stuff like that. I really would. As long as the metas themselves are fun and rewarding. I think if people find that that's... Yeah, well, look, it's a huge discussion. I'm really scared to have it because this is the end game stuff and I really want to focus, so... I hope you guys can appreciate that. Now this Lich, I don't remember what they do. They have a break bar, which we can contribute to a little bit there. As long as I don't take aggro, I'll be happy. Having the whole team here is really nice. Why aren't the team here on the mouth fight? What happens there? Do they just stay on the airship here? I'm going to point blank shot, swap, use the chill and the weakness there to keep the break bar low. And hopefully that bar will go down. There we go. Back to longbow for the break bar increased damage on the stun. Okay, so he does nothing. He's just a nothing fight again. So many nothing fights, man. Alright. Okay, let's go this way. You'd like dungeons to be more like SWTOR. Your idea is similar to how it was back in the day when you leave your tutorial island to reach your alliance's capital. There was a dungeon you'd have to complete that would progress your alliance war story and introduce you to dungeons. Sadly, today it's soloable and optional, but still fun. Yeah, that's what I loathe about MMOs. I think that they've lost sight of what it means to be a game. The people are just scared of like getting people burnt out, basically, and losing. I don't know. Look, it's yeah, that boss did die pretty quick. Anyway, wait. That's Power Core 1. I don't actually have to carry them anywhere, do I? I thought I had to carry them and put them in a door or something down near the thing. I guess we can do that later. The next one's a giant, I think? And it throws grubs around? We can probably cleave both obelisks with, I think. That grub hit us really hard there, but it was a crit, so... Undead grub shot. It's also painted me as though I've been attacked. This is like the loopy effect almost. Even though I never actually had a debuff on me. So I had a hidden debuff. You guys might not know this, but Guild Wars 2 actually has a lot of hidden debuffs that are constantly firing off. So it's like you've got a condition on you. It's just they don't have an animation tied to it. And they don't have... Look, here it is again. Look, I've got no conditions on me, but the colour of my character's changed. Can you see that? Representing something. That happens all the time in Guild Wars. So like when you're a Mesmer and you drop a portal... did you know that actually puts a condition on you, essentially, a debuff on you? And it lasts like 1 second. And what that means is you can't, whenever you press F on that portal, what that 1 second debuff means is you can't press F again. So, interesting fact, when resistance got added to the game, if you had resistance on you, which makes you immune to conditions, and you went over to a portal, you didn't have to be a Mesmer, and you pressed F on the portal, you could spam F as fast as you could. You could press it 1,000 times in a single second. And because that debuff was being negated by the resistance, that hidden invisible debuff, because it was being negated by the resistance, you would go through that portal 1,000 times in that 1 second, should you have deemed to run a macro that would do that. Yeah. So there's lots of little things like that, little things where you peek behind the curtain. So what you're looking at there is the grubs are putting a debuff on me. I don't know what that debuff does because they didn't give it an icon or any visible thingy. Later they patched it and resistance doesn't affect the portal thing anymore. But that's always happening in story instances and loads of places. It's just little debuffs that are always firing off on your character, disabling or enabling various actions. No, that doesn't still work. You could exploit it with Phoenix on an Ellie by throwing a Phoenix at someone and then spamming through the portal to make the Phoenix keep turning around, like basically make the Phoenix about face. Okay, I'm really scared. Let me kill this grub. I'm really, really, really scared. These grubs are really hitting me hard. Okay, we had weakness on him there, but it wasn't a glancing blow. Let Destiny's Edge do that. What? No! Another one hit me. Oh, it's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Kaith, rezzing? Is Kaith rezzing? Kaith! Oh my god. Wow, and the Fernhound hit it really hard there. Kaith, don't go anywhere because I'm going to need another one, sweetheart. Oh my god, it keeps throwing grubs at me. I'm breaking combat. Alright, we're out. Moving back in. Destiny's Edge are dying. We got to get this kill quick. Pet swapping now before it dies. Down the pets, down the pets, down the pet. Not me, not me, not me. Get away, get away. Stealth. What the hell? Oh, I got another one on me now. Are there more packed at the central thing? Can I pull them all the way down there? Air's here, Zodge is here, Garm's here. Where did they come from? Did they respawn because I moved away? Did I snap them based on dungeon? Like, basically like it happens in dungeons. Retarget, please. Dodging with lightning reflex. Pet's dead again. F2, heal. Logan's running in. So what, when they die, do they go back to camp and then come back through? I tried to strafe around those. These guys hurt so much. I'm going to try and stealth. Retarget, retarget. Okay, the creeper did retarget. I don't know about this, guys. I really don't know about this. Stealthing again. Moving in slightly. He's exploding, I think, at low health. No, he's not. Both pets dead. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. This res is the pet, right? Ranger is that overpowered, right? Big problem right now. Res me, pet. Signet Agony's so overpowered. Like, what can I actually say about this? I don't know if we can beat this. I don't know if I don't know. That was hard. That should not have been that hard. This is bad. I don't know how we can beat the mouth if we're struggling that much on him. Strafe back and forth quicker and the grubs literally can't hit you. I mean, I was trying it. Yeah, maybe I just need to do this. Oh, they just hit so hard. 9,000 damage from that smash, by the way. So I wasn't going in melee, obviously. If you guys didn't know why, he's got that big attack. He also explodes when he dies, I think. That's almost a 10k hit. If that crits, that would have been way worse. Look at how big these hits are. I mean, just to remind you all, we have no armor on. Oh. Yeah, I can't believe Kaith rezzed me. I cannot believe. Kaith is the real MVP. At no point in the personal stories that happened. That happens really consistently in contemporary content. What the devs make now is really good, and they have like that. The NPCs are really great allies. That's very rare in personal story. This is the retuned solo version, though. Maybe they added that. The other thing I was scared of, by the way, during that encounter is in explorable mode, there's loads of bodies that explode and instantly kill you. And I got really scared as I was kiting away that some of those bodies were on the ground and I was going to accidentally walk into one. So that was also occupying my brain a little bit there. So we don't actually have to carry these items anymore now that they've made this soloable, do we? Does Stone Spirit give me prot when I get attacked or when I attack? I wonder if, like, I don't know, an invuln, a regen, and a dodge. I mean, it's pretty tight, isn't it? Maybe I should run Nature Spirit. Spirit that heals allies, command it to revive and cure condies. This might save our lives. Maybe we should run this. Last 60 seconds. Nothing I can do on that slot. The other thing that's on my mind is Greatsword. I don't know whether I should be running Greatsword. When you receive damage, the foes are weakened and I gain prot. 4 seconds of protection for a 15-second cooldown. It's not good enough. Beast abilities heal allies around the caster of 2,500? What if we run this? Instead of the marksmanship Signet of Stone, what if we run this? Call of the Wild grants regeneration. That's pretty goddamn hot, isn't it? What if we do this instead of marksmanship? Just a lot more regen. A bit of quickness, I guess. You need to erect a shrine of some sort in your guild hall in honor of Kaith. If I pull this off, maybe. No, I can't run Druid. I don't have enough points. You can run Elite Specs. I just didn't go around the world collecting enough thingies for it. It's the Mouth of Morgemoth fight. That's what I'm scared of. Can't I run Soul Beast for DPS? Same answer as before. So I'm just going to check how much these bees hurt here. So they apply bleeding. Nothing appeared in the combat log. Can I like... Oh my god, yeah, Morgemoth. Zhaitan, 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 Zhaitan. Look, you guys get it by now. You get what I'm saying. So let's see how this extra 2k heal feels. Was that it? Really? What? Yes. I mean, the Drake now heals me as well. Maybe I should put on a ranged pet so that... The problem is, it's forcing me into melee. Alright, Knight. You guys good? Nobody's getting condied? Spirit of Nature, though, means so much less damage, doesn't it? Thing is, I don't want to kite through this room. Fire Trail, Reflects Projectile. So he's going to do the charging one. So he's going to be a bit like an A-bomb, really. I'll move the pet in first. Alright, go. Pet goes in first. Pet's in the field. I'm watching the pet's health right now to see how it feels. There's the charge. So that, if we get caught in that, I'm really scared. See the Drake's health getting chunked right now. It's for standing in the AoEs that leaves behind. So he reflects projectiles. We've got to be really careful. As he reflects, they will probably burn us. I'm just going to pew, pew, pew our way to victory here. That brake bar's not getting really hit by anyone there, but we are slowly getting it down, so I'm just going to hold it. This will be blind as... Oh, no, it's just weakness. Where was the blind from? Was that a marksmanship thing? Does this do more damage if I'm closer to them to break bars? Or is it the same always? Pet's dead, that's fine. The fight will be over before this is relevant. So it doesn't matter that I played badly there and let it die instead of swapping preemptively. Just watching for the charge. There it is. It never came to us all the way. Healing everyone. The Destiny's Edge is dying, so I'm making sure to press the 2 there. Zodra is doing sweet FA. Good job, honey. Alright. Why Morgemoth? Why not Krakatoric? I mean, a mouth of Krakatoric. Season 3. It will reveal it. Season 4, sorry. It will reveal it. Alright, this is the salvage of Rhiannoc's Dream. Did we already go to the Lady Livia? I think we did. It was the really difficult boss, right? Salvage of the Lady Livia. That was such an exciting POI. And now episode 6 has been a thing. Alright, bees despawned. Okay. This is where we put our big boy pants on, and so that you guys know, we're going to be put on an airship, close quarters, little opportunity to kite away, and we're going to be getting aggressed a lot, attacked by a lot of mobs. We're going to have some really difficult dragon fights where we have to fire cannons, and we're only going to get very narrow windows of opportunity to actually fire them before mobs AoE the grounds where we are. I actually think if we die, it could be against the on that cannon section. This is all before the mouth of Morgemoth. Mouth of Zhaitan. This isn't going to be good. It's fixed break bar damage, is it? Okay. I think it could... I don't know. I'm really scared of this. Before we go on to the airship... Oh, shh. Do we have to press F to get onto it? Nope. We're just going up. I don't know... I don't know if I have all the right skills and things on. Would high protection uptime for myself be better than invulnerable from the Signet? Yeah, rip Zogan. Rip Logan for about 5 minutes. So basically, we're going to be on this ship. We're going to provide a bit of air support. And then later, we're going to use it to get ourselves to the glory of Tyria and fight the Elder Dragon. I'm actually really scared right now. This is really good. So we're going to see some really scary giants that luckily we don't actually have to fight. If you look at the minimap, you'll notice we're flying very far away. This is the Cursed Shore here. And we're flying all the way down here. We fight the dragon like over here. This is all areas of the game that you never actually get to explore, aside from in this one instance. Zogan or Morgemoth. Wouldn't Condi be better? No, you can't really run Condi build. Well, you can, but you don't get much gear, dude. So you can't really run Carrion. There's no question of Carrion or Dire and stuff. You get what you're given. Zogan equals Logan and Zodra. I didn't know you were a shipper. I'm not. Use the cannons to reflect the reflect the giants. I don't remember the timing on this. Alright, it's a global cooldown. Okay, we got that one. That's fine. Okay, Eagles have landed. Roll. I want to get to grips with a few things. The ship isn't going to stop moving, so if I drag him in here, will Destiny's Edge fight it? The crew will fight it. Pet swap. Heal from the F2. Okay, they are doing some things. Where are the giants? Basically, when the giants attacks land, I think they spawn things. Plague carrier explodes. We need to keep him away. I'll swap to longbow and push him back if I need to. He's dead. That's fine. We want to be aware of that as a risk. Moving forwards. I need to get comfortable with the space of the ship and the kind of movement I've got available to me. Oh, the ship has stopped moving. Okay. All right, I'm watching for the start of their animation, then I'm going to get on the cannon and... Okay, using it now. Big reflex. Pulling back. I mean, we just have to play very safe, very slow, very carefully. Okay, that's another animation. It's fine. I'll wait. Don't mind. Plague carrier back there. Getting a very early bow attack on it. Dodging away because he charged me really hard. Scared of the dodges, obviously, as well, because if they move me over the edge of the ship, I think you die when you fall off. What the hell, man? So that giant... So we got 2 of them dead. So we just got this last boy now. He's using it. Reflecting. We got the full reflect there. Okay, and he's down. Damage done. It doesn't recognize it on the log. That's fine. It's strange that they made cannons but only used them as shields. Yeah, and the cannons have health bars that are never relevant as well. I mean, every inch of it is all unfinished, unfinalized crap, basically. That they could only release because MMOs in general were... The bar is pretty low. Alright, here we go. Big roadblock number 1. We kill the 3 towers. And then the mouth fights us. The towers are really scary as well, but we have 1500 range, which allows us to cheese it, if I remember correctly. We have gorillas. These are the first gorillas of the game that we're going to fight now, which is great. I love that there's things that have been held off to the end. These eyes are really dangerous, so we have to kill these before we go anywhere near the thing. I'm going to keep the pet with me. There's no need for it to go over there and just die. We can kill those. The ooze are really scary as well. They split and deceptive. Can I just shoot the tower from here? Without aggroing the gorillas? Actually, hold on. When we kill the towers, the mouth spawns. I don't want any random mobs here when the mouth fight is ongoing. So I'm going to just try and pick these mobs off slowly and steadily. I'm going to preemptively Nature Spirit here. I'm genuinely that scared. Condi's removed 5. And it will res 5 targets. I'm the only one that I care about. Keep him away. We can finish that one off. This regen is absolutely amazing. Stay on the Drake, bro. Stay on the Drake. I'm going to put you right next to him. There you go. Stay. Good. See? Gorillas aren't really doing anything dangerous there, but they have really long knockdowns, and that's what I'm scared of more than anything else. Concerned about my back. Because, again, I don't want to aggro anything else. So, that's Tower 1 done. That's the Gorilla Tower. I need to wait a while. Oh, hold on. There's another... Did they keep respawning, or did I just miss him before? I'm not really sure. When you kill the tower, the mobs disappear. Do they really? Let's test that. Let's put the Drake over on the tower. Can the Drake even attack the tower? You see that shockwave attack there? That's what I'm scared of. So I tried to command the Drake to attack the tower, but it just walked to me instead. I think because it's a specific kind of... Oh, right. So they do respawn. Right. I don't know whether it's because of the Guild Wars 1 Ascalon music right now, but it feels very Guild Wars 1 right now. Okay. So they are continuously respawning. Right, I understand. As long as they stay on that Drake, I'm fine. I'm scared of a shockwave coming towards me. We're out of range again. Drake's still got 32k health. He's fine. Did you see how long he's on the floor? Just constantly on the floor. We have 2 stun breaks. 2. Ow, the eye respawned. Shit. Yeah, do you see that shit? Do you understand why I'm scared? Internet? Do you understand? 45 seconds on the nature spirit. Drake is slowly getting lower. The other eye's up as well, so hold on. Why is the respawning of the eyes even a mechanic? It's very odd. It's like the time frame that they expected us to be playing on is a lot longer than... And why is he staying at range using that? That's interesting. It's like he doesn't want to come into melee because there's already 2 in melee. That was a hard mode AI mechanism in Guild Wars 1, actually. It's okay because he's caught in some kind of loop. So there, the tower's down. Okay, chat lied. This is why we have to be careful of whatever Twitch tells us, because mobs do not despawn when the towers go away. I would guess that their respawning ceases. Look, the Drake is just permanently on the ground. Permanently. Do you see that? Like, that's not actually stopped. Look how close to dying he came. He hasn't been able to use his F2 and heal himself or me. He's just been on the ground the entire time. And that's only 2 gorillas that have accomplished that. So he actually hit me with that. They're not knockdowns. Shockwave is not a knockdown. All right, so there you go. That's 1 tower. By the way, this room over here is an interesting... Well, I won't go into that story, I guess. I'll do that every time I come here. All right, so this makes me think, what's the point in fighting the ooze? Because they just, like, split into more ooze and stuff. I don't see any eyes on this one. And they're just going to keep respawning. So let's take out the tower first. I'm going to put my pet for the first time, actually, to avoid combat so it doesn't go in and aggro the ooze. And I'm just going to edge forwards and see if I can find a perfect moment where I can hit the tower but not aggro the guys. Turns out there's not a perfect moment. But there are 2 ooze, only 2 ooze that came out. They're very squishy as well. That's good. If he stays on the Drake, I'm pretty happy. 2, 3 ooze coming again. Now they are ranged. Oh my god, they strike with immobes. Now we have resist on this signet, remember? They immobe on their attacks. Maybe I should blow them all up, like AoEs and stuff. And take the tower afterwards. I wonder as well, you know, this was something that was a mechanic sometimes as well. If you never kill the full wave, it won't trigger the respawn elements of the game. But it looks like that is happening. So I'll put the Drake over there. And I'll stay over here. He's going to come at me. I'm going to try and strafe around it. Didn't work. Let's see how much damage he does in melee, shall we? So, not much. Am I in range of this? 250? No. Alright, the Drake soloed an ooze. That's fine then. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. You, attack that, please. Barrage does land on that. We're obviously close enough for that. Okay, so that's tower 2. Tower 3, I don't remember. What comes at us? Just regular mobs, maybe? Oh, so the ooze despawn, but the gorillas don't. I'm just... Okay, what's really on my mind is we do so little damage. This Mouth of Morgemoth fight is going to take so long. Something about this scares the shit out of me because there's a huge downtime. And that downtime sort of... I'm going to die in the downtime. So maybe it would be better to, like, run... I don't know. I just don't know, guys. I don't know. He's going to have a break bar, so entangle's not going to be a thing. I can't remember if there are allies that come at him. I just can't remember. All right, I'm going to try the perfect angle here to take the last tower out without having to fight anything. Oh, it's obstructed, not out of range. Right. Out of range. There. Yeah, it seems like on point of attack they come. Alright. Set him to guard. That flame caster, that was an extraordinary ability. Seems to have some kind of a knockback as well. This archer's been the only one attacking me, and it's put a lot of pressure out. He's blind and weak. The Drake will finish him. I'm going to get as much damage up time as I can here. I'm going to move right in. Drake, go. I can make him spaz out of it, but he's not doing anything. All right, fine. Let's just heal. Juggernaut has spawned. I don't think there was a hammer character before. He isn't attacking us, though. It looks like the respawns don't. Oh, no, maybe they do. Because, look, he's coming now. Just knock him back. That's nice. Yeah, that's really good, because the next Juggernaut should go in as well. Do you think all the respawns will be Juggernauts instead of the same variety and mix before? Because before it was Ooze and Gorillas, there weren't sub-varieties, right? So I wonder how the devs have handled respawns. Just hammers, is that it? No, there's an archer over there again. Okay. Mouth of Zhaitan. He's over there. The Juggernaut has not despawned. My job right now is to keep the hell away from the mouth so that it doesn't aggro on us. I don't think the devs had figured out stuff to force a fight. So he's pulled the helicopter down. We have to just deal with these first. This is so gross. I hate that the game's done this here. I should have probably gone with the Ooze as the last tower or something. He's patrolling in a big circle, but I don't think he's actually aggroed. How is this guy doing this much damage to me? Fuck! It's coming as well. Is he just running in a circle? Okay, he's just running in a circle. They're just trying to vaguely keep aggro here. So, this is the fight. Now, I'm pretty sure I can break aggro somehow. So, what's going to happen here, guys, is we're going to pressure him, and at some point he's going to spit out, like, some kind of mob, which we have to kill, I think. Here you go. So, he's invulnerable. Royal says, what's behind the door? It's just like an unfinished area of the instance. And then we have to, when he does his big suck attack, we have to throw... So he does seem to have increased aggro. Oh, no, 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 he's not coming. Well, he's invuln, so what? What do you expect me to do? All right, he's throwing these out. Right, so basically, here's what we do. We grab the orbs, and then he's going to start... Nope. We're waiting for a certain animation right now. There, that. And then we throw it in his mouth. And then we get a DPS phase. I think swiftness was more important than I realized. Gonna take another orb here. That's good damage right there. That's really good damage. Okay, he's invuln again. So this is what I was forced to dodge before. The fact he's down on the pet's really nice. Now, the minion Mancer had a similar thing, so we can throw that again. Range is 1200, I would guess. But he ended up clearing their minions out. So these orbs do despawn, by the way, eventually. So we just want to be careful with. So I don't know how much damage he's doing to the pet. That was maybe a waste. Is he going to do it again? Wow. This is completely different to how I remember it. And it looks like a face roll, so that's good. That means that my only fear is the dragons that we have to fight. And believe me, it makes me really sad that this is a face roll. So, I mean, he's not... He just doesn't do much. He's just staying on the pet. Could probably kill him now. I'll go for the full barrage. Another one? No, we didn't get the kill. That's fine. Because we build a lot of swiftness with the attacks. Okay, there could be another projectile. Just watching for the dodge. There it is. A lot of them are going on the Drake, by the way. What's the global cooldown after I throw that, by the way? How did the Necro almost die here? I don't understand, because yes, the Necro had to be underleveled for the instances, but by the time they got to this, they were level appropriate because, you know, there's only 80 levels, and the entire last arc is level 80 oriented. Pet stronger than minions, seems like it. So now it's fighting the dragons. Now the dragons are kind of scary. A lot of mobs spawn, particularly that are exploding mobs that can hit you while you're on the cannon trying to fire it and get the reflects. So if we're really quick off the draw, it's really important on these dragon fights. It's really important to be quick off the draw because we can get extra damage on early. This is beautiful. Look at this. You cannot fault the victory or death for not being cinematic. Here we go. Alright, Preserver. I wonder if I can pull Destiny's Edge out. What do you think? Do you think I can grab a mob and get them to come out? Do you think that would be a good idea? Let's try it. We got nothing to lose trying that right now, so avoid combat. Come in. Pull the mob into the doorway. There you go. They're coming. Zoja, Logan, Ritlock. They come into the despoiler. And now if I pull the despoiler slightly out, he's retargeted to the marksman. Now if I get that plague bearer over. Death in the sky discovered. Alright, so as soon as we see that dragon's health bar, we need to reflect the first volley. Gonna start watching the 5 here for the regen. We cannot be atrophied down. We cannot. We have to be in a solid position here. No longer avoid combat. Put him to guard. Get some weakness out. We got a reasonable uptime of regen as well from the spirit. We want to watch these AoEs here that these preservers are dropping. They're geysers basically, but they do damage. We want to watch those. Ritlock's out. That's good. Is he going to go all the way back to his place? No, Ritlock. Kate's still here. Good job, Kate. Is she going to pull the entire group? No. We got Kate as an ally. That's it. Kind of don't want to kill it too quick. I guess that would... Yeah, Kate. Yeah. Look. Kate, sweet. She's leaving. I don't know why he's just standing there. He realizes he's outnumbered. Look, he's a good PvPer. He knows not to go into a 1v2. Sadly, I'm a ranger and everything's a 1v2. Ayo! Am I going to go permadeath through living story and expansions? I don't know what the next project will be after this. I don't know whether we'll keep doing this, but on a different character. I don't know what we'll do. Okay, dragon. We got to watch for his first. Alright, he just spawned. So you see these fields. We do not stand in these fields. I think the pet can keep the mobs away. That would be nice. Where does he come up? Come on, man. Alright. So he's here. I think he's going to swoop under. I think he's going to come over here, swoop under, and we need to be on the cannons on the right-hand side. Ogre of Ross, the Moon Death. I made a bestiary entry for Ogre of Ross. I'm very proud of it. Two. We got Risen Quaggan. Massive damage. We need to pull out. Fucking hell. How did the Quaggan hit so hard? What the shit is that? Was that even a thing? Watching the AoEs. We didn't get a full DPS phase there. 50% of the boss is what you want, really, so you can do it in 2 phases, not 3. But we'll go again. Poison slash from the Quaggan. 2 slash attacks, one of them crit. That's what hit us so hard. Dragon's over there. Why would dying to a Quaggan be fitting? It would just be, like, funny, that's all. I don't know why it would be fitting. I haven't spent the entire time slagging Quaggan off. It would just be unexpected, not fitting, necessarily. Alright, here we go again. So because we're on 3 phases now, I know that it's not actually... It's not that important I press 2, the absolute maximum... It's a Hylic. Careful. Go, you prick. We have to outrange the Hylic. Okay, yeah, you see that shit? You see that? Yeah, we don't want that. Okay, it's dead. I have to be very precise about where I use Lightning Reflex to, because again, we do not want to go over the edge. You remember a graphical bug on this bit and someone on Reddit complained that no one had fixed it. Turns out no one had actually reported it, according to a dev that replied. Yeah, I mean, how many people make it here, right? Not because it's hard, it's just because they get bored out of it, man. Someone asked me on a recent stream, what's the stat I'd love to see? Go on, give me that. Give me the stat of how many people actually make it to the end of Personal Story. Okay. We'll get the early reflects up. Watching furiously. It's a pirate. Pirate's fine. I'm fine with that. Alright, that's the first kill. Now, we have to do that double now. One more thing stands between us and Zhaitan. It's this, again, with 2 dragons at once. Which means 2 mobs, means double the AoE fields, means twice as much time to kill. I don't know how much damage that would have done. I don't know where that came from. Ow, okay. He's using the skill 2. Water F2. Get the early heal here from the Fernhound. Prop us up. I'd love to be a thief here right now with pistol and invigorating precision. You just nuke these mobs instantly. Kill yourself. It would be such a glassy, like, fast-paced way to experience the game. What do I think about the names? I think they're really interesting and a great hint at greater world building, and I wish there was a little bit more substance to them, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's really poetic. I think there's so much that I adore about the aesthetics and the sort of styling of this last instance. It's so good. I mean, look at it. Look at it. What's not like to like, man? Except the camera clipping through the thing. Oh, God. I was looking at chat. I'm probably going to stop looking at chat now. I'm going to use the elite. I looked at chat because and someone said, are you just not allowed to heal? No, I'm not allowed to heal. Welcome to 12 hours ago. No, I appreciate it was an honest question. All right, he's swooping. It looks like... Here we go. Reflect. Preserver. We want to get 33% of his health down. Okay, that was a really big hit. I think I only got 25. We can still, in theory, do it in 3 bursts, but... Basically, our goal here is to DPS them just enough so that we can kill them in 3 waves each, which means 6 phases of fighting dragons. We don't want... and being vulnerable in these cannons. The spirit's gonna go down in a second, and I might wig out. There you go. The spirit's gone, so no more regen, really. Here you go. So swoop, reflect. We want to see him get below 33% or to 33% here. Corruptor, 45. Oh my god. Oh my god. Signet Agony, using the skill 2 for the days. Kaith coming for the rescue. Rezzing with the skill 3, and Kaith is helping. Kaith, are you horny for me or something? That's insane. Oh my god. Okay. Put him back, put him back, put him back, put him back. The pressure we get hit by. That's insane. Kaith, you are the real MVP. Alright. Next dragon phase is coming really quick. He's swooping under. No. Reflect. Is it the same guy again? It is the same guy. Maybe we shouldn't be doing middle cannon. Middle cannon seems really dangerous. Come on, can we get the third phase? Can we get the third phase? One more shot, one more shot, one more shot, one more shot, one more shot. Good, he's down. Ah! Oh! Oh! Okay, I think we're right there. Get on the pet, get on the pet, get on the pet, get on the pet. Turn around, get on the pet. Oh my god, he did the blink! Get away! I didn't have an angle to push him anywhere convincing either. Okay, the next dragon phase we've missed. It's fine though. Let's just kill what he spawned. Interestingly, the devs propped scary music now, but the fight got easier here. Oh, my heart's going a little bit right now. Alright, I think we're okay. The fight's easier now because we got only half the situation to deal with. Alright. Maybe the middle cannons are scariest. Let's just go here and let's see. Watching him. I think he's going to come around to the left and go under. So standing in the Heart Slayer. There we go. He's going under. Put him reflect up now. Now, perfect would be 2 phases. I don't know if we're going to land that. There's the fields. Moved out. There's the next field. The dragon fields are the worst ones. It looks like it is still double spawning ads. In fact, that's 3 mobs. Actually, maybe they did make it harder here. Maybe this is actually tuned to be a bit trickier. Maybe they've scripted it so that... I mean, look at that. We're going to use the Pet and the Warhorn 5 to just heal the hell up. Look at that sustain, man. By the way, in PvP, the current meta is Druids are like the sustainiest goddamn things in the world because they can just cleanse so much. And it's amazing how you can even get a little bit of a feel of it here. Look at all this regen we've stacked, and that's not without the elite here. Not that they're running the elite in PvP, but anyway. Alright, let's try this one then. A little bit earlier with the reflect this time. I mean, this is going to be 3 phases, right? No fields on us. That's good. Do it again. Oh, this cannon's the MVP. I don't think we'll get it in 2 phases. We need one more shot, 1 more second. Oh, we did get it. Nice. Need to stay out, though. Who's still active? Oh, my God. Look at how much damage he did. Look at that. Careful. That knockback, I knew it was going to get me, but it's okay, because me being knocked back doesn't interrupt the pet animation, which is another nice little perk of playing a facial class. Alright, here we go. Let's... Oh, careful. Get out of that. Just need to finish this last guy off. Alright, people. It's Zhaitan time. Yeah, no, I know we're gonna fight Zhaitan. It's just the mouth of Morgemoth. That's what was confusing me. No story. More of the same here, really. I really hope the volume's good here for the game, so you guys can get the feel. Man, imagine if the story had this kind of cinematic quality the whole way through. Imagine. Look at the talent that's actually here. Look at it. Look how incredible they are at this. Look how well constructed this shiz is. Last time we played this, we were drunk and talking about raiding. And if this was turned into a raid encounter. You think this was built before a lot of the core games instances? No, I think this was probably built right at the end by a selection of very passionate people who desperately wanted something that remotely represented their vision of this world and this story that they wanted to tell. I think they were desperate to have some kind of a high that they would go out on, and they decided to focus all their energies on something cinematic. And I think a lot of ideas for the phases and the fights and stuff was just too difficult to pull off. That's what I think. This is, I mean, I'm not going to do my bog standard normal Zhaitan criticisms, but obviously this is shit, this cutscene. I want to see it real time happen. He's big enough. You don't have to be that scared that I'm going to miss it. Christ. There should be a drinking game. Take a shot every time you press F2. That's not a good game. Then you just be chugging like shots or whatever it is. All right, A-bomb. So this is the defense phase. These are the black fields that we want to be really careful of. All right, he is not fucking around. Okay, and neither will I. He's charging, moving left. I don't know whether Keith is going to come to our rescue in this one. Plague Carrier explodes. Keep the hell away from him. Pet swap and hope that it gains the aggro. Cutting up here. I don't know what is up here or how much space we've got. Breaking combat. That's good. Gorilla. We got a height advantage here, which gives us extra damage based on how many points in Huntsman we've... Oh, wait. This is not Divinity Original Sin. I'm not playing as Ivan Ben Mez right now. Alright. Not sure how scared of these red rings to be right now. Not sure when to meaningfully use my Spirit Nature either. Another Plague Carrier. He's an Exploder. Checking behind me to make sure no new ones have spawned. I want to feel safe. Captains come up. Another A-bomb, another ring. Phase is over already. Lightning Reflex. Oh! I hope he despawned there, because they just cheated me out of that. If I got hit by that A-bomb, I'll be pretty sad. He didn't have any rage, so... should be okay. The Mega Lit cannon was created before all the little kids started saying lit, by the way, so I don't think it's actually a reference to that. Like, the game released in 2012, it would have been coming out in 2011. I didn't start seeing people say lit until, like, 2 years ago, maybe, tops. Lit was a thing in the 90s. All right, here we get the back-to-back cutscenes, because there was a part of the fight that was cut. Oh, Insomniatic says I know, but it's still funny to me. No worries. It's probably a reference to setting Zhaitan on fire. Well, yeah, just because there's a band named Lit from 95, it doesn't mean it came into public, recognizable vernacular, you know, until quite recently. So look at this epic fight. Look at what we did. We're destroying an Elder Dragon, guys. Look at that! Yes! We're killing the dragon! Oh, I'm such a hero! Christ! I've never felt so rewarded for my time in an MMO. I didn't even have to work on that. I mean, Christ, you can't get any better than that, guys. I barely had to log in to kill this Elder Dragon. I can definitely play this and have a mortgage and a job and kids. Easy peasy. Such a shame they went back on this in recent years and tried to make a game. Alright. So those black marks will be coming back. I want to have a look here, by the way. It's called Poison Cloud. Interesting. Zhaitan hits you. There's something quite interesting about saying that. Quite exciting, actually, as well. Alright, so eyes. These guys we do have cause to be concerned about. It says hold out. It's basically another defense event. I genuinely believe this was made in an afternoon. This bit here, this is basically just a defense event again. Hold out, but no bar to look at this time. Alright, here we come to the tower bit. I mean, I'm talking about the mechanical side of it, not the airship and all the, you know, the assets and all that stuff. Alright, here we go. It's skill 1. I apologize. I thought it was skill 2. It's skill 1. I thought they changed it to skill 2. Okay, so basically we watch this until that, and then we stay out of those. We heal. We use nature's renewal, I guess, because why not? And we get back on with skill 1. Do not stand in these gunks. Do you see these? We let Destiny's Edge and stuff kill the Eye of Zhaitan. I like how many heal ticks we're getting over there. Wait, what's that anime? What's that one called? Oh my god, skill recharge and spam. Necrotic Grasp, really? Or was that actually Zhaitan? No, that was an Acolyte. Poison Explosion. That's what it's called. I wonder what my ability's called. 23 seconds of regen. Thanks, Balance Team. What was that? Spray poison? Broke combat! Broke combat! We actually broke combat because the wizards were the only things holding us in combat. Oh, gross. The split will happen when we hit the accept the final reward. So we have to go back to Fort Trinity now. At least the music's pretty. Yeah, there's a lot pretty about it. I don't think anyone in chat here is joking about how pretty it is. It's very pretty. He's still alive. We never see his dead body. Well, his tail is in the Dumb Priory, so... And I think the way that the devs have been handling it is that he's basically dead. I mean, I think they probably like the conspiracy theories that the players sometimes throw around, that he might still be alive or whatever, but I don't think they'll ever embrace them. I'd like to see a real patch, as with the entire core game, I'd love to see a patch that goes back and fixes that and, you know, makes it a real experience. But it would feel very odd to have that a special action hotkey you know, bullet hell, fractal slash raid slash, you know, even current living world stuff, main story stuff experience now. It just feels very out of place. I think the whole thing really needs that reboot. But you know, as a raid, as an optional 10-man raid, I would love to see that fight, as I've said before many times. Here's where I die, huh? Yeah, maybe. Final cutscene. Shall we watch this one? Here we go.
Last. With Zhaitan defeated, the corruption it wrought can be undone. The dragon's undead minions that still infest Tyria will now gradually be exterminated. One day soon, that plague will be but a memory.
Sorry, I forgot to put my mic back on for a second there. I was going to say, look at Kaith there. Kaith actually probably genuinely saved that run there. She probably was the hot sauce that saved us. I think we genuinely might have died on that giant fight. I don't know if the Signet of Agony and Hill, the res, would have helped us at that point. I genuinely think she might have saved us. I don't know. I'd have to look back at the footage. But Kaith was pretty damn good there. Shout outs indeed. Someone just... What did Lily say? Sorry. Lily said, use the Scarlet Present. Are you remembering that from years ago? Because I used a Scarlet Present here, didn't I? On the successful completion of a different challenge. I think I used a Scarlet Present to kill me. But I don't have any on this character because... Why did I have one on that old one? I don't actually know. There you go, Johanny. He's going down. He's just going to celebrate. Another hint about Jormag, by the way, is at this doorway. I kind of love that Jormag hasn't been tackled yet, even here in 2017, because, you know, all the hints in 2012 were that he was going to be the next X-Pac, and he just wasn't in the end. I wonder whether they were really thinking of that. Whether they were going to do Jormag and then Morgemoth later, or because the community caught onto the Morgemoth secret, and wankers like me started doing videos about it, maybe they decided to jumpstart it. I don't know. In Merciless rules, it says no gold, but using waypoints uses gold. Yeah, that's like a little thing we've understood the whole time. Your comment is very much like the, you know, the guys that are like, technically, oh, you think you did good, but technically, it's like very I don't know. Anyway, there you go, another cutscene. Sorry, I skipped that one. There are just several characters that talk in the pact about going after Jormag next, and Traherne even says it right here in this last instance. He says Jormag's probably next. People want Jormag. Yeah, there's like 3 maybe different comments nodding to Jormag. No worries, One Fantasy. No worries. We already saw one on stream. Literally, you heard them. Or did I not talk about it? But it was definitely on stream. One of the comments about Zhaitan, Jormag, sorry, we've already seen here. So there we go. That is the final instance, and we split. Boom. That's the run done, guys. Sorry, hold on. I've messed this up a little bit. There you go. Boom. 12 hours, 20 minutes. Lot of faffing around. Yeah, maybe it's right here. Can we... No. Rest in peace. You don't really have much more going on in the story, sadly. Rest in peace to you as well. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, sort of, I guess. You are probably about to become a big character. You, probably as well, actually, when we go to corner. You, not so much. You, Rip as well. You, what you up to? You gonna be a thing again one day, maybe? One of these goes Rip, don't they? Alright, I really don't like this song. I know a lot of you guys are gonna start jizzing yourself, but I really don't like this. So we're going to skip out in a second. Let me check here. Yeah, so it just loaded us straight into season 1. And then, but it doesn't exist. So they just have, this is a copy paste, I think, of what usually appears here. So they just create a recap for us. There you go, guys. Challenge complete. Oh, Lotus says, I don't count the run since you dodged earlier. Technically, you dodged. So it's not a real run. I'm looking forward to seeing your run, Lotus. Heart of Thorns time? Well, it wouldn't be Heart of Thorns, would it? It would be season 2. And then it would be Heart of Thorns after that. Oh. Broad Quaggan says it as well. I don't count this run since you dodged earlier. No, that will not be a copy paste. Oh, it's on, he says, with a cheeky face. Wait, what? ArenaNet updated some exalted dialogue based on the profession to fit some of the new elite specs. What, back in Heart of Thorns, really? Yeah, you guys can feel free to not count this, but I count this. I think that's cool. So, just a cheeky little demo here for you all. /age. You can ignore the 11,000 hours of my life I've wasted on this franchise. But check it out. 12 hours, 40 minutes, this character. Boom, baby. We're done. And then /deaths. You've died 0 times. And there you have it. So, one thing I will note. Purely lengthwise, and that's skipping a lot of the side-by-side cutscenes, condensing the story just down to the instances for a single path, I think 12 hours is actually really respectable. Now, we can probably shave 1 or even 2 hours off of that because a lot of that's just me faffing about. But, so let's say it's 10 hours. I actually think that's a fairly... yeah, I think it's because it's with the cutscenes skipped as well. If we were to be watching the cutscene, I reckon that would bump up to 15. I reckon 15 to 20 hours is a pretty reasonable period of time to beat a campaign. I think a campaign of a story campaign of that length's all right. I reckon the best RPGs probably fall between the 20 to 40 hour window for telling their story. I think if they get 40 hours, just the core narrative, I mean, obviously, the best RPGs are huge open worlds that you do a lot of side stuff as well. But I reckon for core story, when you get 40 hours plus, they get a bit meandering. But if you fall within that that window, I think it's pretty good. And Guild Wars 2 is pretty close. Even with all of the branches that they added. So obviously what we experienced was very dilute in the end. But I think that that's actually not too bad. So I learned a little something there as well. I do have respect for the core personal story, the length that they got. I mean... It's sort of that thing of, is quantity a quality of its own when there is no quality within it? Which I guess we could discuss. But I think, you know, there's something there at least. They got that. Yeah, exactly. So Xantos said in chat, how many of those 10 hours were actually good content? I think I'm already sort of a bit hazy on some of the details. But I think that for the entire run... Now, if I don't say it now, I mean, it's only going to become a more and more distant past as time goes forward, so I'll give my thoughts now. There were maybe 5 moments in all 12 hours that we were challenged. I think. I have no memory of any challenge in the first part. I have no memory of any challenge here. I have no memory of any challenge here. I think. Anyway. Oh, is it when we went to Shivers and stuff? We joined an order. The emblem of the Vigil is a mystic coin. This is why it means that the Vigil members are rich, by the way. See, this is interesting to me as well. If I rebuilt this shit, I'd have a proper, like, quest item system. And I'd have these properly shown to people. Look, they reuse it again. Look at how gross this is. Look at this. We chose a really ugly way to get through the story. A very low quality method to get through the story. Oh, here's an emblem of the vigil and the file text core. Don't worry that it's the exact same copy pasted item as a second ago. Oh. Was there any challenge in the script bit? I don't remember any. Claw Island, the beach. I remember that. The final instance was like... Let me just be clear. What I think Merciless should be... You know this, what you watched here tonight, guys? The last hour, this last instance. That is what I think Merciless should be the whole time. I think it should be a stress. I think it should be difficult. I think it should be something we're concerned about and we have special strats for and that we think properly about and we move in certain ways and we can, you know, that's what I think Merciless should be. Not like, wee, I'm on a skimmer. So yeah, I don't know. I have the clock hidden in the minimap. Yeah, I turned that off ages ago. I don't remember why, but I just haven't turned it back on. Yeah, Almora's hoarding Mystic Coins. So I would really boil this down to... Let's just go over it. We have no gear on. We have... What is this? We have never dodged. We have never used a heal skill. We haven't touched anything in our bank. We haven't... all we've done, really, is skip leveling. That's all we've done. We've not used any gem store boosters or consumables of any kind. We haven't had health food boosters or precision gains and stuff like that. We've not done any of that. We've accepted personal story rewarded weapons. That is it. So we've actually ended the game here on a level 10 axe. Sorry, level 10 warhorn, that's right. A level 20 ring, a level 20 ring, the ruby heart, 11 power, ooh, worth a lot. A nice amulet and a nice back piece, definitely. I won't sniff at those. And a nice underwater weapon too. And rebreather, why not? I'll give it that credit as well. But aside from that, you know, let's imagine a run where I wasn't allowed to equip these. I wasn't allowed to equip this or any of the weapons. What would that run be? I think it would just be like an impossibly slow run because you do no damage. I think. But I don't think it would actually be difficult. I think it would just be... I don't know what else we can do. That's the Ranger, though. So the other side, as people rightly pointed out, is we could make a new toon. We could make a new character. We could play one of the harder classes. So I am interested in seeing this on a thief. Maybe? We were still in the phase where I was letting you guys vote on classes, if you remember. We were going through the classes, and there's 9. We got to... that was our 6th, and we beat it on a Ranger. We never saw Ellie. We never saw Thief. What was the other one, maybe? WP, I came back from work. What did I miss? Did you finish it? Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't believe Thief would be pistol whip spam. Would you be interested in using your Ranger to finish Merciless off for Heart of Thorns and POF? Well, I think it would just die. Use random org. No, that random challenge sounds awful to me. You're welcome to run that yourself if you like, but that sounds really unentertaining to me. No, there's not going to be an account tour. I told people this many times. Yeah, I really think you'd just die if you tried Heart of Thorns or POF. Yeah, we'll demo it, right? Heart of Thorns. What do you want to see? Season 2, Season 3, Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, or Season 4. Any of them. I don't mind. I'll do any of them. First person to vote with the code 9. I'll show you it. I'll show you it. And we'll see how it feels. So there you go. Heart of Thorns 9. That came from Diakana there. Rally to Maguma. Prologue. Report to Red Rock Bastion in the Silver Wastes. Right. Okay. So yeah, this is this one. Oof. We never went anywhere near there in this campaign. course, if we'd level 80 boosted, like all the good kids do. We're going to have a bit of a walk here. I will go there, though. We will see how it looks. I am still curious. I think it would be a disastrously difficult situation, but we'll see. Because it becomes an actual game now, and there's some reliance on having stuff. Maybe after Mercilence for Heart of Thorns and POF, since it's harder content. You can upgrade the armor and leave it at that, but only level 80 blue gear. Listen, the idea that then you upgrade the gear and stuff... You're basically just trying to find what that perfect experience is, what that perfect game is, where the game is actually difficult, but it's, you know, you've got certain allowances, right? You're just finding that perfect sweet spot. And at that point, you may as well just decide to do that for the best content possible. And I think that as much as that I rag on it a lot, Core Tyria is better than all the subsequent stuff for a challenge run. Because Core Tyria is structured such that a lot of the dialogue is skippable, and you can quickly move encounter to encounter to encounter. Also, there's a significant variety of environments you go to and stuff. Heart of Thorns, POF, the currently playable seasons, they are really, really bagged down by excessively long dialogue sections where you're just standing there, scratching your armpit, smelling your finger to see whether, you know, you smell a BO. That's literally what's going on for a huge amount of the game. Core doesn't struggle with that, so I think if you're gonna start pursuing the idea of, oh, let's just find what's actually really interesting, you may as well just do that as a Core Tyria series, where you play the class and the right armor, weapon combo, blah, 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 that makes it really interesting, right? Do you get what I mean? I don't know what's so much more interesting on the face of it. If we assume that there's a good balance of difficulty, if we're going to start manipulating the rules to a deep extent to find the perfect difficulty, I don't know why you'd pick HOT or POF. Aside from the fact just that I've done a lot of Core on my streams, and you might be sick of the ranting, and you might be sick of, you know... But there's so many different options for how to get through Core, and there's a lot more viewer interaction. For you, especially as a stream viewer... there's more to get for you out of Core because you get the votes on things. None of these other things really offer those opportunities. Ooh, am I going to have a ferocious answer to Keith? Or a dignity one? Ooh. You know, like, there's not anything really. So, you just got to think about that. You wouldn't even have to scratch your armpit, though. Oh, Dotsy. Maybe you should allow the use of higher level weapons and trinkets to raise your DPS. The thing is, though, if you have too much damage, any sense of, like, attritiveness to the combat is immediately lost. And you can sort of just burst things down and ignore too much stuff. It's really, really, really easy to trivialize this stuff. Like, really easy. Like, imagine this wasn't a permadeath challenge. Just literally just pretend that that wasn't permadeath. What you just watched over these streams, the merciless stuff, just pretend it wasn't permadeath, just for 1 second. Would you describe this as a hard game, a medium difficulty game, or an easy game? And I can tell you what your answer to that should be, and there's only one real answer, and it's an easy game. It's trivial. Everything you watch there is trivial. So what if I die? You would just respawn right there, and the enemies would still be on 50% health. You'd be back up at 100, and you'd kill the stuff. There would be of the 5 moments where you could potentially die in all 12 hours of gameplay, in those 5 moments, you'd click respawn and just kill the thing. Like, it's very, 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 very easy to make the game trivial. For Core, yeah. I mean, Heart of Thorns and stuff. I think, yeah, it's more interesting. There's Pocket Raptors and stuff, definitely. We want to see you fight the mouth of Morgemoth finally. Or mouth of Zhaitan finally. Is that a problem? I think it's a problem. I don't know what you're actually asking there, actually. But if you're in reference to the idea of the game's a face roll, I do think it's a big problem. I feel like it would just be a continuation of the story. It's not necessarily because of the difference between the stories, but why stop Merciless at the end of Core? Sure, we can have some points where we sniff off bums after a good scratch, but it's It's just to see if the game is actually completable. Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that, actually. That's an interesting thought. In which case, I shouldn't have let you vote on that there. I should have actually just gone straight down to Season 2, which is the logical next thing to do. Yeah, I mean, Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire are great. You know, I felt weird. You remember when I did my Heart of Thorns story review? You know, I was singing its praises and saying, look, the quality is so much higher, blah, 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 blah. You know, I took issue with narrative decisions. But the actual quality and what they do with the game now is so much better. They actually know what they're doing now. It is. But it's funny because when I made that story review, no one was talking about that. No one seemed to have the guts or the... No one was like... I don't know. I'm sounding really weird and arrogant here in a way that I don't intend to. Basically, it's like people don't sort of appreciate that a lot, I think. That the game's made big strides. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think it's a real shame because it really has made big strides. It's not appreciated enough. What's the deal with all the talk about smelling your body? I don't know. I'm just trying to be gross, really. That's all it is. I'm trying to be gross. You think Season 2 turned people off to the story? Yeah, I mean, what I'm talking about right now is gameplay-oriented stuff, and I'm talking about delivery-oriented stuff. I'm not talking about the story itself. The decision to introduce the characters that they introduced, the way that they handle certain big topics, the time they dedicate to certain big topics... Those storyboarding, writer's room decisions, I think you could be very turned off by. But the delivery of the story is really great right now. See, it's funny because, and I said this with Heart of Thorns, I don't know if people remember this, but I feel like with Heart of Thorns and Forward, actually, they kind of did a flip. Core Tyria has a beautiful, romantic, poetic, incredible, epic, and when I say epic, I don't just mean that as, you know, just a random adjective to try and make it sound good. I genuinely mean epic, large-scale, beautiful, profound, wonderful story. The story that is on paper, the novelization of the 2012 story is great. It really is. But visually and delivery of that story is trash for 90% of it. The last instance manages to reclaim some of that visual beauty and visual space that I think a lot of us think of when you think of that story. And then Heart of Thorns was the reverse. The Heart of Thorns is actually kind of, I think, the story they were trying to tell and the characters they've now got, and a lot of those things are actually really kind of low bar now. But they're telling a lot better. And it's a crying shame, really. I want to see the 2K12 stuff told with the 2K17 quality, you know, where they turn on, think about POF, where they turn off the mini map and all that stuff, you know. Oh my god, imagine that. You may need to ride a different mount to survive the jungle. Maybe. I think this is the tankiest one though. Alright, here we go. Let's see. So I have to defend a fort here, and then you loved the part where I died? What part? Path of Fire had a lot of that truly epic nature that Core Tyria does. I feel really weird with POF. It's like I'm sort of not allowing myself to have opinions about it in a weird way. I don't know. I don't know what I think about POF. I don't know whether I agree with what you just said. I don't know whether I disagree with what you just said. Well, these things are dying. Look how awful this feels. Just these random guys now with me. Okay, that's one. The lack of skippability is the only problem with the new systems they're using. I would agree with that. Well, I wouldn't say it's the only problem, but it's probably one of the more profound problems, definitely. Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna cover the story. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, person 30 for the weekend. You completely missed season 1, and they got back when season 2 started, and there was Marjorie talking to Ma, and I was just like, who are you? Yeah, a lot of people have that experience, and it is really sad. Broiled is just straight up copy-paste trolling me on today's stream, right there. I can see you there, dude. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just run past too. Everything seems to be bad. What's good about the game? What do you mean everything's bad? We were talking exclusively about a batch of content that came out when the game originally released. That's it. We're not talking about the raiding scene or the fractal scene or the world versus world scene or the PvP scene or any of the other stuff that's going on, or the you know, the recent Living World releases and all the current farms and builds and things to play and balance and stuff, and you know, all of which I'm very positive about. It's a huge game, man. It's very weird for you to judge it based just on core area. Very, very, very weird. I hold it in a very high regard because I have a particular consideration for player retention. And also just my own, like, butthurt little, oh, I want the game to be perfect stuff. But, you know, generally speaking, it's not that bad if Corteria. I mean, the devs have openly accepted that, right? That's why they just give you tomes and let you skip it. I can skip this scene as well. But I think I have to defend this, don't I? Istan and Path of Fire are fucking awesome, but that opinion of negativity is an example of why Corteria needs overhauling. I mean, the argument against all of this, guys, is, I mean, people, apparently, it's not marketable, right? Like, this is, well, I guess that's the reason. You have to make new stuff. People won't come back for old stuff. And that's to such an extent, they won't even give us Living World Season 1, of which there is no version we can play at all. I mean, if they're actually going to embrace that, Living World Season 1 has to be the first on the list, doesn't it? Because Living World Season 1 is not there at all, while at least Corteria's got like a shoddy version of it that's playable. Mercac says revamping old stuff is new stuff. I agree with you, dude. I agree. But I think that's an opinion, not a fact. Am I ever going to do a 24-hour stream? If I ever felt it was worth it or I was inspired to. But there are certain things that keep me from streaming a lot. And I just don't have any... I don't know. I think that would be a bit scary to do. Sleep schedule-wise and stuff. Might be fun. You posted about the idea of account sharding. Oh, sorry, hold on. I can't look at chat while we're actually... You posted the idea of account sharding and giving optional ways to replay account-bound progression systems, and I got downvoted to oblivion. I think the major criticism was dev resources and priorities, which I understand, but people seem to be hard on that idea for some reason. Yeah, I love that you cared enough about it after we've talked about it that you'd want to post it online. I think what it is, okay, is... And personally, I think this is really gross. I think this is really dangerous. I think it's like really... I think a lot, not just Guild Wars 2, but MMOs. I think a lot of people are only playing it because they already have a ton invested in it and they already have a ton of rewards and they just want to keep pushing it. They're proud of like the amount of Ascended gear they've got, or they're proud of the amount of Legendary Insights they've got, or the amount of AP they've got, or... I mean, I would say their PvP rating and stuff, but it feels like they lose players even if they are proud of stuff like that. But I think a huge thing with MMOs is if you then take that away, these people wouldn't play if they had to go back to square one, is what I'm trying to explain to you. I think there's a huge number of people there that if they had no progress, they would drop the game. And so if you ever bring up to them the idea that maybe it would be fun to lose your progress, maybe it would be fun to lose your dies, maybe it was a joy to earn that stuff and to go again through it, and maybe you could build a game around that that's more retains people to a higher degree and is like, you're not just chasing the rewards. It's not just all about stacking rewards up, and it's not just about account progression. It's about the actual moment-to-moment experience. as essentially PvE leagues as a concept embraces. I think if you suggest to these people those things, they hate it because they, you know, they're playing Guild Wars because they have all that stuff and they just want to keep adding to the pile. I think it's really dangerous. I think it's a really weird. I think it's like, it's not good. I think a lot of people fall into that trap psychologically without realizing it. And I think it's everywhere in Guild Wars 2. And so I think that, you know, this is why account sharding and stuff, you got downvoted to oblivion because people don't just, like, they don't want to think of that. They think, I'd never use that, I'd never do that. I mean, honestly, I'm speaking very theoretical right now, and I'm thinking sort of, you know... But let's actually nail this to reality for a second. You, listening to me right now, yeah, you in the chair, watching twitch.tv or alt-tabbed, playing the game, listening to me, actually stop for 1 second and think about this. If you lost all progress in Guild Wars, essentially... you're banned, but you're not actually banned. You know, you get a free account. You lose all your progress. Do you uninstall the game? Do you stop playing it? Even if you do keep playing it, really stop and think, do you reckon you'd run out of Steam in about a week or two? Really think about it. I think a lot of people would. And I think that is actually a sign of a shoddy product that at its core doesn't have a very, like, engaging loop to it. That is kind of propped up just by this sort of pack rat mentality. I mean, if you really think about it, I think a lot of people would quit. There was another side of that I was going to talk about as well, but I forget. Oh yeah, so then the last bit is, now that you've thought of that, what's your answer to that question? Curious, isn't it? One way or the other. Maybe you've learned a little about something about yourself, thinking about that. Now, here's another side of it. What if everyone lost all their progress? It wasn't just you, it was everyone. All your skins, all your AP, all your titles, all your minis, everything. Everyone goes back as if the game only just released. Now think about that. Because I think a lot of what an MMO is, it's not really what you earn, but it's how what you've earned compares to what other people have earned. I don't know which choice I just picked there. I think that's a big thing as well. And I think there's a lot of people who would just be saying, yeah, I'd probably uninstall. Who now actually might be thinking, actually, that would be kind of interesting. But you say that on Reddit, you say that on the forums, you say that in map chat or something, people will scream at you. No one wants that idea. No one wants that. No one likes the idea of, oh, this is it, you know. Do you know what I'm suddenly really scared of as we destroy these pocket raptors? I'm really scared that this is going to be really easy. Because if this is easy, then it means Heart of Thorns is poo as well. And it's all fake to a greater extent than I realized. So let's hope we get devoured here. And WoW, millions of people play where they release an expansion every 2 years where all your previous progress meant nothing. The age-old complaint, yet still millions of players. I understand where you're coming from. And I know they're two different games, but I still believe it relates. That's interesting, the whole invalidation of gear. I mean, you got to realize as well, Guild Wars is a game that built itself on the idea of not invalidating your old progress and stuff. That's the whole point of no gear grind and no, you know, gear treadmill. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of in Guild Wars 1, they only had 20 levels. So, it is an odd one to think about, really. I actually just wanted to start playing Guild Wars, but this talk makes me very doubtful. Why? What? What makes you doubtful that I'm... What? Give me more details. Why, Shazam? Why does this make you doubtful of playing the game? Oh, I guess it's all the stuff about, oh, there's nothing to the game. It's just because people were collecting stuff and they're invested. No, when I say that, that's not really a Guild Wars criticism. That's more just how MMOs are structured, I think, personally. I think if you want a PvE game that stands on PvE, not World versus World, not PvP, I think Guild Wars 1 had a really interesting idea, and that was PvE moves people into the PvP. PvE is a staging ground to get you to the later stuff. And then I think as Guild Wars 1 progressed, the devs lent more and more on PvE and more and more and more and more, and then they started trying to embrace like pure PvE philosophies and pure PvE retention systems like Domain of Anguish and the Deep and Ergos and stuff. And then when it came to Guild Wars 2, they tried to do a balance thing and it just didn't work. But I think that original Guild Wars 1 idea of you have a PvE campaign, but it's really just there to feed you into the PvP formats. I think that's one way of keeping your game very healthy and with a lot of people. And PvP games, obviously, if you can make them competitive, they're like cash cows. So I think that's a really good idea. Look how quick we're killing these guys. This is obscene. But I think the way that Guild Wars 2 nowadays does things is not a good idea. I think that, you know, think about how much money, think about how much effort, think about how much time is spent on developing that Istan release and all the amazing stuff that went into that Istan release. Now think about how little marketing that can actually offer. Now think about how few players will be experiencing it and enjoying it. I could be dead. This could be it. Oh my god, we're getting rezzed. Oh my god. A year from now, right? Like, think about it. You know, it's sieving water. That's what it is. That's what the Guild Wars 2 system is. It's sieving water. And I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's smart. I think you need to pursue other ideas if you can have a PvE game like PoE does or RuneScape's been doing with its various initiatives. I don't think sieving water professionally is something you should be doing. So anyway, I don't know. Just a lot to consider. Yeah, that was pretty scary. I'm not too tense here, by the way, because obviously I'm not very invested in this run. But yeah, that was interesting. What's this here? I would uninstall, since for one, that would mean I lost almost 6,000 or something hours of my progress. And two, the game would have lost the charm of me playing and discovering the world for the first time. I would just be doing the same shit over and over without that enjoyment of exploring the world. Exactly. Like, Guild Wars markets itself. I think you're right. I think you've nailed it perfectly there. And I think the thing is, Guild Wars has like basically said, hey, what's really exciting is exploring. We're really good at giving you a great exploration experience. But I think exploration experiences, if you're actually going to look at a game from sort of, you're going to stand back for a second, exploration isn't really a great thing to offer. Cinematic experiences aren't great things to offer because you run through them. You can only explore once. There's not much to it. You need a really strong backbone of gameplay. You need really enjoy... And the tragic thing about Guild Wars as well is the combat is so amazing. If the combat was just plugged into a system that actually, you know, stressed it for PvE, it would be amazing. That's why raids are so good, to be honest. That's, you know, if you look at the success of raids and why I completely wanked myself silly over them, it's basically because they managed to accomplish that, right? But exploration can only be done once. You're absolutely right. I'm going to use the spirit here. They were really scary as well, those stalkers. Look at these green numbers. This is obscene. No, I don't think Breath of the Wild's comparable. Yes, it's a great exploration experience as well, and I think those elements of it are comparable. If you look at the actual gameplay of Breath of the Wild, as far as I understand it, there are so many different ways to accomplish your ambitions. There are so many different sequences of things and abilities you can use to tackle scenarios. That doesn't really translate to Guild Wars. Do I really have a lot more fun playing Guild Wars doing this instance with a longbow as opposed to doing it with a short bow? Is that really that profound? Now, there is a world where that could be really profound and interesting. But the game has to be a challenge, and it has to teach people about certain things, and it has to, like, try a lot harder. It needs more of a backbone to the experience, right? And that's what I'm talking about. I'd love it to feel, you know, to feel really rewarded playing this instance, longbow versus shortbow. And I'd love to see discussions on forums about, you know, the merits of both for this kind of... You know, Breath of the Wild's more like that, and they managed to accomplish that better. Do you get what I mean? I feel like I'm being a bit inarticulate about my thoughts right now, but hopefully you guys get the gist. Oh, so Adjul says it's hard to recapture the magic even in Breath of the Wild there. I mean, I shouldn't talk about Breath of the Wild because I've not played much Breath of the Wild. Kestish says, I think Guild Wars 2 combat's a bit too complex, or rather too fast for how complex it is. WP said it himself, too many skills, too many effects, too many factors to consider. PvP is basically unenterable today since the learning curve is extreme, while the mechanical skill required to play has always been small. I agree in some parts, I disagree in some. I think that there are really easy ways to get into PvP. You can, if you play a Firebrand or a Scourge, to a certain extent, you can just spam and you'll get through, and you can learn and keep picking up more and more and get more competent over time. I think that the learning curve isn't that bad. That's a whole different discussion, though. But I think you're right, and I'm glad you're agreeing with me about that. Like, every single ability, like, just does too many things. Giving every player essentially 15 skills at once is already an extraordinary idea, let alone making every single one of those skills, like, do 3 or 4 things at once. Like, this auto should just be... Ricochet should just be a 900 range thing that bounces. That should be it. It shouldn't be given might. It shouldn't be a combo finisher at the same... Well, it could be a combo finisher because that's a slightly different system that you could learn separately and it would all come together. But, you know, it shouldn't have the might on there. Spitblades. That's probably okay. This... No, way too much. I don't think that should splash AoE. I don't think it should bleed, chill, and weaken. I mean, range has always been a bit weird because your abilities then make your pets do extra stuff, and I think that kind of missed its mark anyway, which again is a separate discussion. It'd probably be better to look at something like Rev or something to have this discussion. Guild Wars 2 has never been about minimal, well-designed mechanics. Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I think at launch it was. I mean, these are all things in the realm of balance right now, which really wasn't sort of my original point, but I think you guys are right to talk about there. I think at launch it was. You look at the way some of these environmental weapons are and stuff. You know, we even did it recently, didn't we? Didn't we pick up a broken bottle or something? It was just attack someone and bleed them. You know, I think that that's really what the game should be. It would just take such a major overhaul. This is why on yesterday's stream I was talking about just steal all their assets. Just make your own game. Just steal all their assets and just design a new game from the ground up with all this beautiful stuff that you don't have to pay for. Just thieve it, baby. You explored all of Breath of the Wild, and then I went to hard mode, which resets your game. Now I know where everything is. I just want to rush to the end as fast as possible, which is fun in its own right. But exploration is something I don't think anyone likes to do twice. I think it's fine as long as there are various ways to do it. Like, a game I've played a lot of, and I've always enjoyed a lot of, was the Halo franchise, before, like, Halo 4. Bungie's original version of it, before everything became very on rails and there were invisible walls everywhere, and it was all very, very... hard focused into one specific experience. And I always loved replaying those campaigns and experiencing different things because it felt so emergent. There was so much just built that was genuinely dynamic in that game. Just, you know, as a result of the way that the AI would interact with, you know, your allied AI would interact with the various Covenant, and then the Flood fighting the Covenant at the same time as your Marines around and all that kind of stuff. It's just, there's something, you know, you've got to have that really great core to the game, you know. You think Guild Wars 2 letting us 100% stuff was a mistake? What do you mean by that? Royal says, I'm tempted to steal them. I think you could technically steal them really easily. You just need to get one of these data mining things, right, and pull them out. And then I think you can put them in Blender and stuff pretty easily. I mean, that's essentially what Shaman does for some of his videos and things, right? I mean, if you're going to build a game ripping off ArenaNet stuff... you best not lay it on my doorstep, I'll tell you that much. I'll jokingly talk about it. I'm not actually going to endorse any such thing. I could probably get in a lot of trouble for that. You totally get that. Every encounter in H2 feels very unique. Yeah, there's just something replayable about it. I'm not sure I can quite put my finger on it, but I think it's how emergent moments just sort of appear before us. You actually enjoy the map exploration so much that I'd play it again if I lost everything. I guess it just depends on the person. That's really interesting, Dusty. So, I'm sure... Well, I don't know. Maybe this is a bit narcissistic of me. Maybe some of you have been wondering my answer to that question. It's hard for me to answer, though, because of YouTube and because sort of work and because sort of the reality says that I would make a new account and I'd keep playing and I'd keep making videos about it because no one's going to watch any videos from me about anything else. Nobody cares about my opinion with anything else. I wouldn't be able to earn a living talking about other things. That's the reality of it. If that wasn't there, would I, and I lost everything in Guild Wars, do I love this game enough to keep playing? redo everything? You know, I actually think my answer is yes, and you guys might think, oh, it's easy to say that. How can you judge everyone else who would say no, and, you know, now you're saying you would? I actually do think my answer is yes, but I think my answer is yes just because demonstrably, I do challenges and things like this, and I have all accounts, and I quite frequently reset myself. I did Zero to Hero recently. I'm still interested in doing Zero to Hero Fractals Edition. You know, I think I do get a certain kick out of it. But the thing is, that kick I get out of it is kind of based on the channel, though. You know, Zero to Hero was to learn more about the game, to be a more informed person and a better content creator, and, you know, to understand new players better and stuff in the pursuit of being better at my job. So it's all very weirdly tangled up, so I don't really know how I could answer that question. But there you go, that's my thinking. That silence a moment ago, that's what was running through my head. Yeah, Jules just says, WP, you've got 3 accounts you've done for that experience. Does that question not make you think about your future outside of Guild Wars 2? What game would be next, Guild Wars 3? Or... Yeah, I mean, I think about that all the time. You know, I'd be insane to not think about that. It's just difficult to talk about. I think that's probably true. As much as I love vicariously watching you restart accounts and stuff, I would not do it myself. Yeah, has anyone in chat actually done these kinds of challenges and things that I do? You know, made new accounts and stuff? I mean, I literally made a new account to do a PvP Zero to Hero as a bonus stream over Christmas. Yeah, there's Amazon's New World. I am interested in that. Yeah, we're doing Heart of Thorns, and we're okay so far. But we've had a lot of allies this instance. I'm surprised that essentially no armor, no dodge, no heal, we can so easily face roll this fight. Ritlock's about to save us. There you go. There's Ritlock. The mount's going to run away. He's on me, but I think I can just pull away. I mean, I honestly... What does this say about Ranger, honestly? Yeah, there's no timer because this is a bit of an impromptu thing. Have you seen the MMO coming out from the guy that built PUBG? No, I hadn't heard of that. I mean, we're killing slowly. What I'm not looking forward to here is the fact that I've got a lot of items that are going to get spammed in my inventory in a second. Can you reset the Heart of Thorns / story progress back to the beginning if you're in the middle? For HOT you can. For core you can't. Core is like still sort of old school. I mean, what do you think is the most convincing argument for the devs to go back and change my story? Do you think that just the fact that it's not consistent with the replayable, achievement-oriented nature of this other stuff is a better argument than anything else? I don't know. You'd not be able to do it because all of Season 1 is locked and a lot of achievements are locked in the historical subgroup. It would really make me unmotivated to do it because I wouldn't be able to get it all back, but I would still do it. That's an interesting idea, Dotsy. You know, I fully sympathize with how you feel on that one, actually. So basically they're saying, guys, if you missed it, the reason they couldn't replay is because they would never be able to get back to where they are now because stuff's just disappeared. And, you know, that goes further than that as well. That goes to the gem store, too. Think about all those skins that... I mean, I hate the gem store. If you were going to rebuild Guild Wars 2 and steal all of their assets, you'd have, like, all the gem store stuff, like, permanently available through actual in-game stuff. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a private server that did that? Oh, it'd be so good. But, like, that's always undermined. I've always been a big advocate for the idea of separating Blackline skins away from other things in the wardrobes and the vaults and stuff, just so that you can have that motivation to actually complete stuff without having to worry about skins and things that are going to go away very quickly. I don't think that it's that skins will never come back, Dosty. There are skins that will come back. Most of them will. It's just you don't know when. And it's hardly a consolation to us to hear that it will come back, but in like 5 months maybe, when you're probably not going to be playing the game anymore, you know. So yeah, here's the inventory issue I talked about. We're going to delete some of our stuff. Oh, our inventory doing this is going to be well annoying. I don't know. I'm surprised we beat that. I'm really surprised we beat that. They should make Zhaitan actually hard as well as all the world bosses. Well, making world bosses hard is difficult on a whole other dimension, because world bosses are now understood by the community to be a face roll way to get loot. That is what they are. And so, like, you do that, you take that away, you make the game a more interesting experience. All people will remember is the times where it was easier and they were overpowered and blah, blah, blah. And they'll whinge about it. And then that's not, you know, good for the perspective of the game and blah, blah, blah. Like, MMOs are really difficult things to make and develop and continue developing for, I think, because there's a ton of good decisions ArenaNet could make. A ton of really good decisions. But because they wouldn't be received by the community well, they can never be made. Such as simplifying the combat system, because that would just be whinged at as dumbing down. There's someone out there who is desperately in love with Winter's Bite, exactly as it is as I mouse over it right now. Someone adores it. And so if the devs, like, do a universal change where they simplify a lot of stuff to make the combat more readable and understandable and soften the learning curve for new people and, you know, all these different things that are all genuinely good things for the game, if they do that, the guy that loves Winter's Bite as it currently is going to kick up a stink. And you might think, well, that's just one random guy. But what my point is there's going to be a guy that loves Winter's Bite, and a guy that loves Spitblade, and a guy that loves Hunter's Call, and a guy that loves Call of the Wild, and a guy that... And on 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 and on. And it's much easier to be negative about an aging title than it is to be positive about one and gain traction on the internet. And I think what you'd find is there's a lot of stuff that would just be missteps, basically. That's it. And the same goes for this. You know, this stream, the My Story thing? There's someone that loves I'm Drake Boy lols and picking a Drake at the start, and exactly how Honor's Gladium goes, and exactly how having Reaver as an ally goes, and exactly how Charm, Ferocity, and Dignity... You might think that's absurd. Who could love the Charm, Ferocity, Dignity system? It's a shadow of its former self. It means nothing. It's arbitrary. It's you know, a man behind the curtain. You might think that, but someone loves it right now. Someone loves it. And so, you know, it's like you're just constantly beholden to this crap. This is why, like, I've been saying, you know, I don't believe in design by committee. To me, it's just sort of like, you know what? If you've got a vision, if you've got an idea, if you've got something you think is beautiful, you need to go for it and hope that someone else sees the end product eventually. Because if you try to please everyone... And if there's ever been an MMO that tries to please everyone, I think Guild Wars 2 is it. If you tried to please everyone, you will please no one. A donkey is a horse designed by committee. I'd like you all to think about that for a second. Sorry, a camel. A camel is a horse designed by committee. Not a donkey. Alright, there you go, guys. That's the stream. Anyway, there you go. I'm done high horsing. It's been way too long. Way too much high horsing. We beat Merciless. We'll have a think about how this goes. Tomorrow's stream, there'll be more random chat and inane bollocks and fun stuff and high horsing. And we'll figure out what our next challenge is going to be. And I guess we'll go from there. WP already breaking rules by not rushing to story? What do you mean? How am I not... What? I was just idly flying around. There's an interesting thing about zebras, by the way, in that they're just assholes. Like, no one's properly been able to domesticate them because they're that much of assholes. There's this amazing gif of a zebra kicking, like, a buffalo in the head or something and causing a stampede. And the zebra just does it for no reason at all. It just kicks a random thing in the head and creates this huge panic and chaos. Bye, Mr. High Horse. Bye, chat, says Dead Zerlot. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know whether I'll come to regret this stream later because I've been very high horsey. I mean, the levels have been quite extraordinary. It's been really fun, though, guys. It's been really cool. Thanks for all the great chat. It really has been lovely. I'm privileged, and I don't deserve you all. And I hope you enjoyed Merciless. We might be doing more of it, obviously. We could pick it on a thief and stuff. We'll see how everyone feels. There'll probably be some polling tomorrow. On tomorrow's stream, we will... So if you're interested in how these streams go, some more of this random stuff... and what our next thing will be if we progress with Heart of Thorns on this character, as you see here, or if we go do Season 2 on this character, as you see here, and try not to die and so on. We can do all of that. You just again have to let me know, and we'll do a lot of polling tomorrow. So, thank you, guys. Honestly, I really, really mean it. Thank you very much. Thanks to anyone who followed and subbed and so forth today as well. But just generally, if you've been here, if you've been in chat, it means the world to me. We have a Discord for further community stuff, and I guess we'll leave it there. So cheers, guys. Catch you next time.